Naruto. Obito is exposed and the ninja world is shocked. Chapter 1. Konoha 45 years. It's April, spring is shining, and the oncoming breeze is gentle and comfortable. On the stone chairs in the park sat a pair of boys and girls, and the pale golden sunlight seemed to cover them with golden neon clothes. The girl has short hair, and her skin is warm and smooth like mutton fat, and it is as clear as white jade. A pair of beautiful eyes are smart and clear. Chong's nose is delicate, the purple color ribbon painted on the cheeks adds a bit of playfulness, the lips are light and rosy, and the figure is slender, like a hibiscus out of water. Obito, it's time to wake up, it's going to be cold to sleep like this. Nohara Lin gently woke up the boy on her lap. Rin, is this the pure land? Obito rubbed the corners of his eyes, his sleepy eyes hazy. Lin gently pinched his face and said with a smile, "You are sleepy, this is obviously a village." Quote. 2 seconds with the earthen flute. Village. Konoha. When he came back to his senses, he found that the touch on his neck was as warm as jade, and a burst of familiar and unfamiliar fragrance entered his nose, and he had just taken a nap beautifully on Lin's lap. What's going on? But shouldn't I have died under the ashes of the killing? Quote. Obito remembers that he and the 7th class were in the space of Kagaya Itsuki. When the situation was urgent, Kagaya killed the ashes in one move, and almost killed 2 children of destiny. In a hurry, he used divine power to transfer one gray bone, but the other could only be blocked by his flesh. But how could he appear here, who should have been in ashes? What's going on? Was that a dream? Obito heart rode. Could it be that everything I experienced was a nightmare? Just when Obito doubted life, Rin's breath hit him in the face. Go home and rest. In a few days, it seems that there will be a new mission, led by Kakashi. Lin said. It's a beautiful thing to get up from Rin's lap and sleep on Rin's lap. He hadn't had a good night's sleep since the moment the previous life decided to execute the Eye of the Moon plan for Madara. After a lifetime of running and toiling, he found that the goal he was pursuing was a joke, and he was also a pawn in the hands of others. The taste really makes the soil in the throat. Okay, Rin, then we'll see you then. Obito decided to say goodbye to Rin first. He wanted to take a good look, and this strange feeling of reliving a lifetime really affected his state of mind. At this moment, he is not only pregnant with the blood of a teenager, but also with the vicissitudes of living a lifetime, and he is a little messy. After Lin left, Obito touched his face, the tender and smooth skin, the warm flesh, it was indeed flesh and blood. It's really nostalgic, this feeling of freedom of movement. In the last life, half of his body was smashed by boulders, and although the spots were filled with white, the body made of spores was not as agile as the flesh and blood. So, Kamui Blood Wheel Eye, Moon Eye Project, Uchiha Spot. All fake. It's all a dream. Obito shook his head and dismissed the idea. Impossible, absolutely impossible, how can one dream of something beyond recognition? So this is a fake. He muttered, and after speaking, he took out a handful of kunai from his waist and threw it at the trunk of the tree. Suddenly, the birds on the tree scattered. It's true, this feeling of power. Obito clenched his fists and breathed a sigh of relief. Feel the heat of your palms and the power of your muscles, and be sure that the space you are in is real. The task Lin said shouldn't be the Divine Bridge mission, right? Wait a minute. Why did I know about the Godless Bridge mission? Is it possible? Am I born again? Suddenly a bold hypothesis popped up. Yes, only this assumption can account for this strange memory that comes to my mind. After a burst of excitement, an indescribable feeling came to my heart. He was used by Madara and ran for the rest of his life. Even if he died for Naruto and Sasuke to block the sword, he could not atone for the sins he committed. But now, he has been born again. Is it because the heavens want to give themselves another chance? Obito glanced at the trunk of the tree that he was looking at, and he knew that there was Shiroju watching him. The abominable Madara and the black. In my last life, he designed me, used me, and finally killed me. In this life, I will not crush your conspiracy with my own hands. At night, the weather is slightly cooler. Konoha village is lit up with lights. Obito sits at the table, dissociating himself from what happened in his past life and the dangers he should face next. Since he wants to live again, he naturally has to make sure that nothing goes wrong, and the first thing to do is Lin's comfort, and he must not let the tragedy repeat itself. Boom. A thunder suddenly cut through the night sky, and silver-white thick lightning reflected on the night, alarming the entire ninja world. A crystal-clear screen then unfolds, like a slowly unfolding canvas. What's that? Ninjutsu. Obito looked through the bedroom window at the screen in surprise. That screen took the place of the moon and showed the world its zeze brilliance. There were also many people in the village who noticed the abnormality in the sky and immediately made a mess. What is that? Is it an enemy attack? Go and call Naruto-sama. Anyway, hide first. The tense atmosphere soon spread to all the villagers of Konoha, to be precise, the whole world. Because at this moment, the whole world can see this screen that appears out of thin air in the sky. A sense of foreboding arose, and Obito faintly felt that this huge screen had something to do with his own rebirth. Suddenly, words began to appear on the screen. Look, there's writing on it. Someone exclaimed. Obito naturally noticed it as well. System loading. Complete. Loading animation. Animation loading complete. Preparing to create IDs for everyone. What's the thing? System. Animation. ID. Quote. Strange terms make Obito scratch his head. It shouldn't be an illusion. No one dares to cast illusions on the Uchiha clan ground yet. Obito calmly analyzed. After all, when it comes to illusion, Uchiha, who has the eyes of the blood wheel, is second in the ninja world, and no one dares to be the first. This is Uchiha. But what kind of existence is that screen in the sky? So huge screen, I'm afraid the whole world can see it, right? Could it be time and space ninjutsu? Even Shinwei can't handle such a large screen, let alone keep it afloat. It's incredible. Obito heart rode. Then, a new word appeared on the screen. Animation loading. Completed discussion group formation completed, ID registration for all personnel. The system will start playing the animation in 1 minute, and there will be a prize Q&A on the content in the animation. Everyone can speak and answer. The system will draw 3 viewers who answered correctly and give a rich reward. The words on the screen make everyone see the clouds. What animation? Lottery, make it like a game. Hey, whose prank is this? Yaga, what kind of prank have you ever seen such a big scene? This is definitely a huge illusion. Everyone quickly bow their heads, don't look. It's so scary. Is the ninja world going to change again? The presence of the unknown is always frightening, especially for civilians. Hokage building. Upgrade the protection level of the village to wartime. Let Danzo, Kaharu, and Menyon come to see me. The 3 generations ordered to the members of the Dark Division who were on standby. Still using your name. Do you really think I'm waiting for rice? But it was Danzo who walked in with Konoha's 2 advisors. Sunchop, this screen is weird, what do you think? Mito Menyon Asahi asked. As it stands, this mysterious screen has no direct lethality, it seems to be just trying to show people something. 8 Fei Ri took a puff of dry smoke, in a word. This screen can be seen all over the world. Their reaction is similar to ours, of course, the element of acting is not excluded. Tuanzo added coldly, and the other shinobi villages' eyeliners had already transmitted the information. 8 Fei Ri beheaded and said, At most, enemies use this screen to project illusions, but there are no large-scale illusions of this magnitude in the ninja realm. Quote. As a ninja, Sarutobi Hinata's knowledge of ninjutsu is among the highest in the entire ninja world, and his inference implies authority. The other 3 nodded in agreement. Right at this moment, the picture on the screen began to flicker. Look! Kaharu shouted. Everyone's eyes were attracted to the past. A mechanical radio sounded. Start playing. Act 1. The 4th Ninja World War. I declare war here. The content slowly appears on the screen. In the animation, a mysterious man wearing an auspicious cloud robe and an orange swirl mask appears from the whirlpool. My name is Uchiha Madara. About my purpose, resurrect the 10 tails, become the 10 tails human pillar force, use that power to enhance my pupil power, and then launch a certain technique. Onoki asked calmly, a certain technique. What is the technique? What are you going to do? The mysterious man patiently explained. The great illusion that projects his eyes on the moon, the infinite moon reading, and casts illusion on all the people who exist on the earth. I want to control everyone in that illusion, so that the world becomes one. Don't joke, how can I give the world to someone like you? Lei Ying shouted angrily. I love Luo's face expressionless. Peace in the illusion is just deception. The mysterious masked man seemed to have anticipated everyone's reaction and continued, hand over the remaining Yao and 9 tails. Honestly help me complete the plan. Otherwise, war will break out. Luo flatly refused. I won't hand over Naruto Uzumaki to you. According to the same attitude as Onogi, Leikage reacted the most. I won't hand over my brother to you. The mysterious masked man's tone was joyless and sad. Okay. The Fourth Ninja World War, declare war here. Quote. The animation came to an abrupt end. The entire ninja world fell silent. Then I don't know who laughed, a stone stirred up 1,000 waves, and there was laughter in the crowd. Ha 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 ha, seriously. He alone wants to declare war on the entire ninja world. I just said it was a prank, or what Moon Eye plan? One illusion to control the entire ninja world. Did I not wake up or did he not wake up? Quote. Who is this Uchiha Madara? Is it the madman of the Konoha Uchiha family? Quote. The sound of ridicule and laughter rose and fell one after another, and Fang Kai's panic was instantly diluted. It's different from the convivial atmosphere here. In a gloomy underground cave, an old figure with white hair listened to the report of the black unknown creature beside him. The old man who was about to die instantly burst out with a mighty force, who is it? Who exposed my Moon Eye plan ahead of time? He coldly scanned all the people present. The black creature was his will. It was impossible to betray him, and the rest of the white creatures were also low IQ existences, who would only obey orders unconditionally. Don't be impatient, Madara. The black creature calmed the old man's emotions, and then analyzed. This image is not necessarily happening now, it may be in the future. Quote. Huh. Future. Yes. You see that the Thunder Shadow next to Onoki is the son of the current 3 generations of Thunder Shadow, and the younger brother in his mouth should be the 8-tailed man Pillar Licky Rabi. The black creature old god said in the presence. So, is this image what will happen in the future? The old man was persuaded, and after thinking for a moment, he asked, so Heiji, who do you think this person who calls himself me? Heiju came over, not knowing what to say. Madara laughed after hearing this. So it's possible that this image is from the future. The third Hokage took a puff of his cigarette and looked up at Danzo in front of the table. Yes, in addition to the Thunder Shadow that we just said, the one with the inscription on his head is called Iaro. He is the son of the Wind Shadow of Cheyenne Village. He is still a child, and the middle-aged woman in revealing clothes is called Jiaomei. She is a rookie in Wuyin Village. He knows the information of the characters in the major villages, which is the quality that a strategizing high level should have, unlike some old fools. Tuan Zhang thought to himself, and secretly glanced at Hinata. Tuanzo's analysis is right, so Hinata, what do you think about this Uchiha spot? Mito Menyon asked. He can never be Uchiha. Uchiha has long been killed by the first generation, his body is still disposed of by the teacher, as for his true identity. I can't say for sure either. Quote. The teacher in the 8 flying sun's mouth is naturally the second generation Hokage Senjuma. It was he who recovered Madara's corpse back then, which is still an unknown secret in the ninja world. Could it be Uchiha's demon? A cold light appeared in Tuan Zhang's eyes. He had long had a prejudice against the Uchiha family, and now was a good time to take advantage of the problem and get rid of Uchiha. 8 Flying Sun Chopper naturally saw the intention in his heart, and said calmly, that's not necessarily, the blood chakra I can be transplanted. Quote. The Uchiha family is an important combat force in Konoha, and if someone is sentenced to death because of an image of unknown origin, it will inevitably cause Uchiha to fight back, which is very detrimental to the village. At the same time, the high-level officials of the major villages are also speculating about the identity of the mysterious man, and at the same time began to verify the authenticity of what he said. Naturally, the high level of the ninja world could not be the same as ordinary people, naively thinking that this was just a simple prank. What kind of prank would use such a big hand? For a while, the attention of the major forces was focused on Konoha. After all, whether it is the Uchiha family or the 9 Tails, it is Konoha's combat power. Obito stood in front of the desk, stunned. 10 minutes ago, an emotionless voice sounded in my ears. ID is being registered for. You name. To be named, please name it immediately. Identity. Konoha Naka Shinobu. Note: please name yourself immediately, otherwise you will register your ID with your real name. Looking at the light-colored panel that suddenly appeared in front of him, he was confused, and he didn't have this thing in his previous life. Could it be that my own rebirth brought about some changes? Please name the ID now. That voice rings in my ears again. Obito instinctively entered his name, but experience taught him that walking in rivers and lakes and revealing his identity was not a good thing. So, he wrote down the next line of names: Uchiha Madara. ID name is not duplicated, you can use ID. Registration successful, your name is Uchiha Spot. I saw a blue light flash, and the screen disappeared out of thin air. What's the situation? Obito scratched his head, and then he saw the screen in the sky playing images of his past life. His first reaction: it's over, the ninja world is so big, there is no place for me to stand on it. Quote. The impact of this video is not as simple as killing him, but it is enough to kill him. It is not that the people of the earth are worried, but there is no shortage of demonic beings in the ninja world, and for them, it is only a matter of time before they speculate about their identity. What's more, Miaomu Mountain also has a toad that is good at divination. Once his identity is exposed, let alone other shinobi villages, Konoha alone will choose to strangle himself in the cradle. What to do? Run. Obito dismissed this idea for the first time. In extraordinary times, the village must be under high martial law, and the slightest abnormal behavior will be noticed. What's more, he is now in a middle school. Where can he run? Do you have to sit still? Just when Obito was at a loss, the screen changed again, and at the same time a familiar mechanical sound sounded. Let's move on to the prize quiz session. Question: when will the fourth Ninja World battle in the mouth of the mysterious masked man take place? A. Konoha 46 years. B. Konoha 50 years. C. Konoha 65 years. D. Konoha 70 years. Note: Konoha village is the first year. The discussion group is open, limited to 5 minutes. Please make your choice in time, and rewards will be awarded to 3 people who answer correctly. Quote. This question may take a lot of effort to let others choose, but for Obito, it is a sub-question. When the war was launched, can he, the initiator, not know? Although he knew the answer, Obito still chose to remain silent. The reason is simple: wood shows in the forest, the wind will destroy it. This is the time when everyone is watching, and if you rush forward, you will be miserable. At the same time, the discussion group was quiet. I think the same way I do. But at that moment, someone was the first to speak. Uzumaki Ju Shina. Yaga, the masked man, wants the 9 tails. Why don't you ask your aunt's iron fist to say yes? Konoha Golden Wheel Phantom Dance Swift Wind. Sorry, the family wife has a frank personality. Jealousy is like hatred, and her speech is straightforward. If it offends everyone, please bear with me. Quote. Konoha, the Wave Feng Shui Gatehouse. Ju Shinai hammered Watergate's shoulder. It turns out that you cannot use your real name. Why didn't you say it earlier? Watergate rubbed his shoulders and smiled helplessly. You didn't ask me either. After speaking, he rubbed Ju Shinai's slender waist and slowly rubbed it. HMPH. Obito looked at the speeches of the two and said speechlessly, this has to be fed a mouthful of dog food, and there is no one. And the name of the teacher was taken, which is really a ghost. At the same time, the discussion group began to engage in fierce verbal criticism of Konoha. 3 generations of Thunder Shadow. What the hell are you doing in Konoha? Make this screen and make an inexplicable image. Do you want to start a war against the ninja world? Konoha's root. HMPH. Thunder Shadow. Don't spew blood. This screen and the image on it have nothing to do with my Konoha. You jumped out in such a hurry. I'm afraid it's not a thief's heart, right? 3. Generations of Thunder Shadow. Who are you? A rat generation also deserves to talk to me. Call the 8 flying sun to cut out and give everyone an explanation. Tuan. Zhang clenched the crutches in his hand, trembling with anger. However, his status is not as high as that of others, and he can't fight and fight. Hold back. Sarutobi replied, Thunder Shadow, it's too early to ask me Konoha. The origin of this image is unknown, and the authenticity is not available. Moreover, that mysterious man plotting against the 9 tails is also my enemy of Konoha. What he said was watertight, especially by grasping the details and characterizing the mysterious masked man as Konoha's enemy, so that he would not be regarded as a public enemy by the other major ninja villages. 3 generations of Thunder Shadows, HMPH. Even so, it has nothing to do with you Konoha, didn't you see those blood chakra eyes? That person also called himself Uchiha, isn't it who you are Konoha? Uzumaki Ju Shinai. Old thing. If you want to add sin, why is there no excuse? If you want to take the opportunity to trouble me Konoha, just say so. See if the old lady hammers you or not. Quote. Who is this person? How dare you talk to Lei Ying like that? It's crooked. The entire ninja world was stunned. As shadows standing at the top of the ninja world, who is not respectful to them? And this woman named Ju Shinai, opening and closing her mouth as to hammer him, is she really strong, or is she a strong king? 3 generations of Lei Ying, the junior has no words, don't let the old man run into you on the battlefield. Quote. The threat is already evident. Konoha Golden Wheel Phantom Dance Swift Wind. Lei Ying, if you want to do something to your wife, pass my level first. Quote. No, who is this goods? Is it that Ju Shinai's husband? What a name. Could it be that all the ninjas of Konoha are such strange? 3 generations of Hokage touched his face with his hand. As the descendant of Mito-sama, the 9-tailed man pillar power, Ju Shinai's position in Konoha is extremely special. Regardless of strength, no one dares to dictate to her in terms of the inheritance of the Uzumaki clan in her hands. Therefore, at this moment, he chose to remain silent. After all, Ju Shinai also spoke his heart, which was his mouth. Just when everyone was talking about it. Onoki. Guys, the most important thing now is to infer the answer, which will also help us find out the identity of the mysterious masked man. Quote. One hit the nail on the head. Obito call it old. Worthy of being the oldest old man. 3 generations of Thunder Shadows. Toying, which one do you think? Onoki. The old man thinks he should choose C. Konoha 56 years. Konoha's root. Oh. The hero sees the same thing. The old man also wants to choose C, and the earth shadow is inferred from the age of those juniors in the image, right? It is worthy of the shadow of a village. Tuanzo glanced smugly at Hinata. Onoki. No, the old man thinks he won't live to live for 65 years in Konoha. Konoha's root. Quote. Everyone. Then the taunts followed. Union sings and dances the trainee ninja. Yagaya Road, Kugaya Deer, who is the root of this Konoha. Clown. Iwane artist. I also put gold on my face, what are you? Dare to touch the porcelain my earth shadow sama. Quote. Konoha blue beast. I dare not say. The 7 tips of the group hidden chi smoked, and snorted coldly. Nameless junior, let the old man know who you are, you must pick your skin. Quote. At this time. 1 minute left, please make a choice. The tone sounded again, and the voice of the discussion group stopped abruptly. Onoki. Since everyone has no other opinion, then the old man chooses C. 3 generations of Thunder Shadows. You won't trick us into choosing C and then choose other options ourselves, right? Onoki. The old man is dignified and disdainful to do this kind of thing. Iwane village artist. Isn't Tokage such a brazen person? Quote. Konoha Golden Wheel Phantom Dance Wind. Fenkai Konoha's root has been analyzed, and I also think that I chose C. Konoha's root. Watergate, this baby is smart when she is young, and she is the pillar of my Konoha. Ape. Flying Sun Chopper. The old man thinks so too. Toad. Immortal. It's the same. Konoha Golden Wheel Phantom Dance Swift Wind. Hey, teacher, why are you here? Toad. Immortal. You don't care about this. Quote. Konoha Golden Wheel Phantom Dance Wind. With the leader of a big guy, the ninja world chose C from top to bottom. Obito also secretly filled in the standard answer, C. A minute passed quickly. When the answer time is up, the correct answer will be announced now. The people of the ninja world all held their breath and looked straight at the screen in the sky. C. That's right. In the discussion group. 666. Thank you guy for lying down. Tsuchikage Jiguan Ninja Realm, no one can match. Many people began to blow Onoki's rainbow fart. Onoki. It's the years that give the old man wisdom. The crutch in Tuanzo's hand slammed the ground, gritting his teeth and saying, "Shameless Onoki." It is clearly the reasoning of the old man. Quote, "In my last life, I underestimated these high-ranking people in the ninja world." Obito said, but then thought about it. But are they also idle? Calculate the time, the 3 battles are coming, shouldn't there be saber rattling now? How do you have free time to answer questions? Quote, "Could it be that my presence made them nervous?" At this moment, a line of words floated across the screen. "Congratulations to Onoki, Uchiha Madara, and Hanzo for winning the lucky prize. Winners will be rewarded. Congratulations to Onoki for getting the reward. 10 years of life. Congratulations to Uchiha for getting the reward. Kaleidoscope Blood Chakra I. Congratulations to Hanzo for getting the reward. Senjutsu Chakra. Nani? This rewards. It's so rich. It's not just rich, it's just against the sky. The ninja world boiled from top to bottom. Pepperfish Hanzo. Ha 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 ha, the old man is no longer a demigod in the ninja world, but a god in the ninja world. Uchiha, the old man looks forward to cooperating with you. Do you also think of dancing? Ants also think of dance. Quote. Everyone. Who is this man? What a big breath. Even the leader of Yuyin village dared not to put it in his eyes. Meanwhile, Iwahide village, Tokage building. A burst of vitality poured into Tokage's body, steaming heat came out of the top of Onoki's head, and his face gradually flushed, as if he had taken a stimulant. After a long while, a crackling sound came from Onoki's waist, so comfortable that he couldn't help but snort softly. The herniated lumbar disc that had plagued him for a long time suddenly got better. Tsuchikage-sama, are you all right? The guard beside him asked with concern. The old man is very good. People are in good spirits at happy events, and Onoki has a much kinder attitude towards the people around him. The discussion group has exploded. 3 generations of Thunder Shadow. Onoki, is this reward real? Konoha's root. It is impossible for Uchiha to still live in this world, this is mostly fake. Passerby A. Seniors, what is the fairy chakra? Passerby B. Blood wheel I know, what is the kaleidoscope blood wheel I? Is it strong? Quote. Fankai Hanzo seems to really be rewarded, otherwise he wouldn't be so excited, but he is a madman and no one pays attention to him. Right now, we are waiting for news from Onoki. Onoki. Everyone, it's hard to believe, but the old man feels more than 10 years younger. Quote. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. Onoki's answer undoubtedly verifies the substance of the reward. The high level of the ninja world, including Sarutobi Hinata, collectively blushed. You know, for those of them who hold power, the value of 10 years of life is self-evident. Careerists have more time to fulfill their ambitions, and those who lie on the merit spectrum enjoy privileges longer. And for those who are dying, 10 years of life is even more priceless, and they are willing to exchange anything for it. For example, in a cave at the moment. Uchiha clenched his teeth and said, 10 years of life. He actually gave Onoki that waste, and if it was given to me, it would be enough to unify the ninja world. Heiju said strangely. Madara, didn't you open the kaleidoscope blood wheel I long ago? How did you reward another pair? HMPH. That spot is an imposter, and I don't know which rat named it after me. Uchiha's face was gloomy. If that man falls into the name of the old man, when I am the first to slaughter him after my rebirth. Madara thought viciously. Heiju, however, the conditions for opening a kaleidoscope with blood chakra eyes are extremely harsh, and being able to directly get a pair of kaleidoscope blood chakra eyes is enough to make him one of the strong, and then we will naturally know who he is. Quote. Maybe he'll be my better agent. Quote. A pair of familiar scarlet eyes reflected in the mirror, and the jade on them was connected into a mysterious pattern, as if there was a whirlpool, which could absorb everything. It can only be described in 4 words, breathtaking. Shenwei writing wheel eyes, beyond cause and effect in the horizon, the eyes in the divine domain, the different dimensions in the horizon, contain incomparable spatial pupils. The left eye can forcibly twist the enemy's limb and send it into a different space from a distance, and can also teleport itself into a different space. The right eye can transfer itself back and forth in reality and alien space, and can also absorb all things. Eyes together, both offensive and defensive, overbearing. Obito touched his eyes. I didn't expect to open Shinwei so quickly, and in the future, I can be regarded as having the ability to protect myself in this ninja world. Quote. The blurring ability of the right eye naturally does not need to be tried, but he has not used the divine power of the left eye. In the previous life, the left eye was given to Kakashi, so he said that this eyeball of his own was familiar and strange. Kakashi has failed to live up to my expectations, and I won't give him my left eye in this life, and Rin will still be guarded by myself. Obito touched his left eye and said, the chakra consumed by the left eye is too large, it is still too heavy for this body now, if it is not necessary, it is better not to use it for the time being. In this way, I will be sure of the Divine Infinity Bridge mission in a few days. He whispered. Madara, I'll go find you. At this time, a prompt sounded. Closing the discussion group soon, now playing the first act Easter egg. 100,000 White Absolute and Filthy Earth Legion. In the video, the wooden coffin broke through the ground, and the first members of Shao. Itachi, Scorpion, Deidara, Kakato, Nagato. Two-tailed Yugito, three-tailed Yakura, four-tailed Old Purple, five-tailed Fan, six-tailed Foam, seven-tailed Fu. The second generation of Earth Shadow, the third generation of Thunder Shadow, the fourth generation of Wind Shadow. Bakugari, Oni no longer slashed, Ice Escape White, Pepperfish Hanzo, Senyo no Senyo's mother-in-law, Junmaro, Sarutobi Asma, Broken, Hinata. 100,000 White Absolute. The mysterious masked man walked out of the shadows, followed by a man wearing a cape and a snake's tail. Go. Go. The Fourth Ninja World War. Go to war. Death-like silence. Fang Kai was also lively discussion group, and it was silent for a while. Fake. Fake it. What are these white monsters? What is the rebirth of dirt? Are these who came out of the coffin the dead? Impossible, how could the three generations of Thunder Shadow die, could it? Fake. Must be fake, the one in this image must be fake. Suddenly. There was an uproar in the discussion group, mostly the incredible voices of ordinary ninjas. Onoki. All quiet, 3 generations of Thunder Shadows, what do you think? Quote. 3 generations of Thunder Shadows, life and death are destined for each other, but the rebirth of dirt seems to be Konoha's art. Quote. The root of Konoha. Dirt rebirth is a forbidden technique created by the second generation of Hokage, which can channel the dead in the Pure Land, but it has long been lost, and this matter must have nothing to do with me Konoha. Onoki. I'm afraid it's hard to convince everyone, whether it's the blood chakra eye of the mysterious masked man or this filthy earth rebirth technique, it all comes from Konoha, and I think Konoha has to give an explanation to the ninja world. 3. Generations of Thunder Shadow. I agree. Yuzu Yakura. I agree. Luo Sha. I agree. Quote. The 4 major ninja villages expressed their position at the same time, asking Konoha to give an explanation, and for a while, the spearheads of the ninja world were all pointed at Konoha. Hokage Building. Sarutobi exhaled deeply, his brows furrowed, just as he was about to explain in the discussion group. Discussion group closed. Preview. Capture Mitsuo Iso. Please stay tuned. As the sound of mechanical broadcasting ended, the screen in the sky faded, and then disappeared completely, as if it had never appeared. Oops. Ape Flying Sun Chop. The secret road is not good, this time it is really yellow mud into the trouser pocket, not as also. The entire ninja world now hates Konoha, but the discussion group is suddenly closed, and Konoha village has 100 mouths, and it will be impossible to tell for a while. He hurriedly said. The incident happened suddenly, immediately notify the shadows of each village and convene the 5 shadows talks. Mito. Menyon and Kaharu also knew that the matter was too big to delay, so they turned around and walked towards the door. Only Tuanzo remained. The 3rd generation Hokage rubbed his sour eyes and asked, Danzo, what do you think? Tuan Zhang showed a fierce light. I think it is better to take this opportunity to push Uchiha out, which can not only calm the anger of the ninja world, but also solve the hidden dangers of the village, which can be described as killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The 3rd generation of Hokage turned to look at the full moon that reappeared in the sky, and said seriously, but Uchiha is an important force in the village, I really can't bear it. Tuanzo sneered. Hinata, you are always indecisive, wait and see, the evil Uchiha will kill the village sooner or later. After speaking, Flick your sleeves and leave. Alas. A long sigh came from Hokage's office. Knock knock. Obito, did you sleep? There was a knock outside the door. It's a teacher. Why did you come to me so late? Obito heard the voice of the outsider and got up to open the door. Bo-Feng Shuaman stood at the door, holding a bento box, and said with a smile, Jushinai is afraid that you will be hungry, so let me bring you a late-night snack. With a warm heart, he welcomed the Watergate in. In the small room, Obito opens the lunch box, and the aroma of food comes to your face. There are rice balls, tonkatsu cutlet, shrimp balls, and grilled meat. With the earth index finger moved, teacher, I'm welcome. Eat quickly. Your master made it specially for you. Bo-Feng Shuaman looked at the large mouthful of Obito, sighed in his heart, and he remembered Jushinai's words. Among the 3 children, Obito is the most distressing. Orphan, father does not hurt, mother does not love, and Uchiha is not naturally treated by the people in the village. Most children who grow up in such an environment are withdrawn and prone to extremes. It can be a kind and enthusiastic person. Maybe the Uchiha children of Obito's generation can change the stereotype of the Uchiha clan in the village. Bo-Feng Shuaman couldn't help but think. As everyone knows, the soil sitting opposite him at this moment is not a taste in his heart. It's a shame. Jushinai was so devoted to him, but he was blinded by lard in his last life, and when she was at the weakest in childbirth, he forcibly channeled the 9 tails sealed in his body. You know, the human pillar force will die if it is removed from the tailed beast. In the previous life, in order to seal the 9 tails, Watergate cast a ghoul seal, also at the cost of life. It can be said that the last life brought soil to the Watergate family, which should have been happy and happy, miserable. Shu is the heart of the teenager with soil in his personality, his nose is sour and his eyes are hot. Bo-Feng Shuaman also thought that this child usually suffered, patted him on the back, and comforted. Don't cry, when Jushinai's child is born in the future, he will be your younger brother. Quote. Obito couldn't hold it at all. He almost killed this unborn brother in his previous life. Teacher, I want to learn to fly thunder. Obito calmed his emotions, looked at Bo-Feng Shuaman, and his tone was resolute. Huh. Why? Quote. Bo-Feng Shuaman can't figure out that people who are still in tears 1 second, and want to learn ninjutsu the next second. So that I can be around the person I want to protect in time. Obito's tone was firm, and even the Watergate was moved. Jushinai is right, Obito is really an angel. Watergate Heart Road. However, Flying Thunder God is not a general ninjutsu. As an S-class ninjutsu, it requires talent to learn, and when the space shuttle is practiced, the load on the body is extremely large, I am afraid. His meaning is very clear. Flying Thunder God is not an ordinary art, it is difficult to learn and dangerous. It's okay, I can. Obito looks very confident. Well, you rest early tonight, and tomorrow morning I will teach you to fly the Thunder God. Watergate thought for a moment, then bowed his head and agreed. Thank you, teacher. After taking the soil to eat a late-night snack, Watergate picked up the lunch box and prepared to leave. Before leaving, he seemed to think of something and asked curiously, Obito, what is your ID? Obito felt a chill in his heart, pretending to be a smelly fart, and said, the 5th generation Hokage. Quote. Watergate stumbled in shock, why the 5th generation? Because the teacher is the 4th generation Hokage in my mind. Obito showed a mouthful of white teeth and replied with a smile. When Hokage is Watergate's goal all along, Obito's words poke his heart. You kid, it's the heart eye. Watergate was touched by the disciple, and instructed, in the future, talk less in the discussion group, otherwise you will be noticed and cause unnecessary trouble. Yes, teacher. After Bo-Feng Shuaman and Obito said goodbye, they saw a flash of yellow light and disappeared in place. Obito saw that he was gone, and secretly sighed with relief. Teacher Watergate was delicate, and I hope that Fang did not let him see the clue. Oh Flying Thunder God. If I can learn it, I will be able to appear by Lin's side in time in the future. Obito sounded the cause of death of Lin in the previous life, his eyes were cold, and murderous intent emerged. Madara. I'll go find you. Quote. Early the next morning, Konoha training ground. Obito came here early to wait. Obito. A lazy voice came, and Kakashi and Rin also arrived. Obito's gaze passed directly over Kakashi, looked at Rin, and smiled enthusiastically. Oh hi iyo, Rin. Lin wore a light pink long, short-sleeved shirt with a drawstring tied around her thin waist, and short black stockings tightly wrapped around her slender calves, revealing a snow-white thigh. The whole person looks simple and capable. Rin walked to Obito and raised her eyes slightly, her slender eyelashes pulled the light, and two purple patterns made her fair face more playful and cute. She stretched out her green jade finger and patted the dust on Obito's body, and said softly, I prepared breakfast for you. You haven't eaten yet, right? Didn't eat. Lin's pretty face was close in front of her, and her big bright eyes were watery, which made Obito look stunned. Only then did he notice that Lin was still carrying 3 boxes of bento in her hand. Kakashi, let's eat together. Rin turned her head and exclaimed. Kakashi turned his hands behind his back and said coldly, I don't eat breakfast. Lin frowned slightly, a hint of disappointment under her eyes. It's all in Obito's eyes. This stinky fool. Obito cursed in his heart. Kakashi, do you know how hard it is for Rin to get up early to prepare breakfast? You actually dare to live up to her wishes. You know Lao Su before. How much did you wish you could eat her breakfast the other day? He flashed over to Kakashi and grabbed Kakashi by the collar, ready to convince him. This guy, when was it so fast? Kakashi looked at Obito in front of him in surprise. Lin hurriedly walked forward, waved her hand, and smiled awkwardly. It's okay to take soil, I can keep it for lunch. Obito listened, and became even more angry, but for Rin's sake, he let go of the hand holding Kakashi's collar, smiled and comforted Rin. Rin, as long as it is your cooking, I can eat 100 portions. HMPH. Think of beauty, instead of letting this fool of yours spoil it, I'll eat it myself. Kakashi said coldly again. This sullen guy. Obito didn't intend to bother with this idiot. 3 boys and girls chatted while eating breakfast at the training ground. Rin, Obito, Kakashi, did you see the image of the sky last night? Kakashi. Look. Obito. Of course, that mysterious masked man is very strong, right? He looked at Rin expectantly, hoping for Rin's compliment. Well, his personal strength is unknown, but the army of white monsters behind him and those dead are indeed terrifying. Rin's expression showed a hint of worry, and she muttered, such a person will bring disaster to the ninja world, I wonder how many people will die in the future 4 battles. Kakashi chewed on the rice balls and said, don't worry, there are 4 battles and there are 3 battles, so we may not live until that time. Kakashi, if you want to die yourself, I will protect Rin with my life. Obito put down his chopsticks and declared. All 3 of us have to live well. Rin smiled and looked at Obito. Speaking of which, that mysterious masked man should be from your Uchiha family. Obito, you are also suspicious. Kakashi suddenly glanced at Obito. Obito felt cold in his heart, and quietly sneered at Kakashi. If I turn into the mysterious masked man, I will beat you up first. Forget it, you idiot, you don't have that potential. And that masked man seems to have only one eye. Kakashi glanced at Obito and looked down to eat again. How can that masked man be Obito? He doesn't call himself Uchiha Madara. Obito is going to be the man of Hokage. Rin narrowed her eyes and smiled, easing the atmosphere. Yes Rin, if I were a Hokage, Kakashi would be my little henchman, and you would be mine. Lin looked at Obito with big watery eyes and asked, what am I yours? Quote. Mad, take the soil and say you are a human in 2 lifetimes, this will still be embarrassing. Obito scolded himself 100 times in his heart. So urgent. My. Obito's face flushed anxiously. Lin blinked, not knowing what to sell with soil. Of course it's my Hokage lady. Suddenly, Obito roared, and the sound was loud and resounding through the training ground. Lin Liang shook, the chopsticks in her hand fell directly to the ground, and then a red halo climbed directly on her cheeks, but she didn't know what to say, she could only shout shyly. Ah. Obito. Quote. Yaga. Kakashi also glanced at Obito before continuing to grill rice. Saying the words in his heart, Obito was relieved, his expression was determined, he looked at Lin who blushed shyly, did not dare to look at him, and said with a smile, wait, Lin. I will definitely marry you. Ignore you, I'll go wash the lunch box. Rin didn't expect Obito not to retreat, but actually more direct, snatched Obito and Kakashi's lunchbox with a red face, and ran away in small steps. Kakashi was speechless. I haven't finished eating yet. Obito rubbed his shoulders and said with a smile, wait for my wedding with Rin later, let you eat enough. Kakashi expressed disdain. Then you have to survive 4 battles, don't be killed by that mysterious masked man at that time. Quote. I can still be killed by myself. Obito was unimpressed. But what Kakashi said is not unreasonable, and now Konoha is in the middle of 3 battles. In a few days, they will go to Kanabi Bridge to carry out a mission, although their strength is not weak now, but everything is variable. Lin, there is no room for the slightest mistake. Kakashi, you should have secretly developed a ninjutsu, right? Obito poked Kakashi in the arm. How do you know? Kakashi was taken aback, he secretly developed Ratchet himself, how could Obito, this fool, know? You don't care how I know first, we will go out on a mission in a few days, you should hurry up and practice your skills now. Obito waved his hand and suggested. HMPH. What do you stupid people understand? Quote. Kakashi don't go overboard. In terms of power, Ratchet belongs to S-class ninjutsu, so its difficulty is also extremely high. Kakashi practiced all night in private, and now he is still a little worse. Listen, Kakashi. I'm your teammate, so why would you team up with me if you can't face your teammates? Unexpectedly, Obito changed his usual hippie smile and said with a serious face. This. All right. Quote. Obito's words are not as reasonable, he really can't look at Obito, to be precise, all his peers. This is also the reason why Kakashi teamed up with others before and always couldn't get along. But at this time, Obito's words touched him. Alright. Just let you see, my own developed S-class ninjutsu, Ratchet. Kakashi said thoughtfully. Then he held his right wrist with his left hand, and a cloud of thunder light emerged from his palm. Then the whole person catapulted out, fast as lightning, and appeared on the opposite tree trunk in the next second. In an instant, a large hole was left in the trunk. The smell of char comes out of it. There was applause with soil behind him. Kakashi, how many more surprises do you have that I don't know? Obito, this fool will actually praise me. Kakashi said in his heart. But you shouldn't be easy to control. The previous life stood at the peak of the ninja world, and Obito, who had super shadow level strength, had a vicious eye, and he could see the problem with Rachel at a glance. Having both power and speed is its strength. But everything has 2 sides. The power is high and the amount of chakra consumed is also large, and the speed is fast, which means that it is difficult to control. But Kakashi is young, and in time, he will be able to master this self-created ninjutsu. So Obito does not skimp on praise. HMPH. And then what? Kakashi's expression was cold, but he was secretly surprised in his heart. This guy with soil, why haven't he seen him for a few days? Like a changed person, not only will he boast about people, but also become smarter. Your trick is currently enough for a single person, but if it is against the group, you can't quickly solve the battle, and then you will be in the mouth of the tiger. I know. The most fatal point of your technique is that the thunder light will also block your vision, and the speed is too fast so that you cannot dodge in time during the impact. In other words, if the enemy stands sideways, you are equivalent to hitting the muzzle of others. Obito continues to point out the root of the problem. But, with a twist of the earth, he said faintly. If you are equipped with a blood wheel eye, I believe you can master this technique extremely quickly. Yaga. I don't believe in Uchiha, where did the blood chakra eye come from? Kakashi smiled contemptuously. Suddenly, his pupils constricted. Do you mean? Shish. No need to say it, trust me, you will have it. Obito grinned and smiled slightly. He was going to give Kakashi one, just like in his previous life. Right at this moment, yellow light flashed. What are you two talking about? The wave feng shui gate flashed to them. Sensei, we're discussing what gift to give Kakashi. Obito panicked. Seeing this, Kakashi didn't poke it, but just peeked at Obito, and put it as the previous Obito. He would never be able to say such a thing as sending someone a blood chakra eye. Yes, you are a team, get along harmoniously. Bofeng Shuaman nodded. What about Lin? I'm coming, teacher. Lin held 3 washed lunch boxes in her hand and ran panting. Bofeng Shuaman swept past the 3 of them, and said with a bow, You all saw that image last night. I, Konoha, will be thrust to the cusp next, so I want to teach you some ninjutsu here just in case. Good! Exclamation mark quote. The three answered in unison. Watergate said, my famous stunt, Flying Thunder God. Quote. Nani. Kakashi and Rin's expressions have changed. As S-level ninjutsu, the authority of the Flying Thunder God is extremely high, but not everyone can learn it. But, can I really learn? Lin said a little unconfidently. No problem. The three of you learn from each other, supervise each other, and practice diligently in the free time of the next mission, you will definitely be able to master. Watergate is very bullish on the three. Learn from each other. Lin peeked at the two boys next to her. Kakashi didn't squint, his expression solemn, not knowing what he was thinking. Obito was looking at himself with a smile, and something seemed to be coming out of his mouth. Rin read Obito's lips. Daisuke, I like you the most. Quote. Don't look over, her face is a little hot. Bo-Feng Shuaman did not notice the small movements of the two, and began to say. Okay. Now let me introduce you to Flying Thunder God. Quote. Flying Thunder God is an S-class space-time ninjutsu developed by the second-generation Hokage-sama, which belongs to a type of instantaneous technique. He paused and added, but it is beyond the scope of the instantaneous technique, and it needs to have a certain grasp of the time-space node, and then resonate with the node near the warlock, so as to achieve the purpose of Space Shuttle. After that, he looked at the reaction of the three. Kakashi thought thoughtfully, Rin looked struggling, with Soil looking calm. Watergate gave them a little time to digest and continued. To cast the Flying Thunder God, you must leave the Flying Thunder God technique on the target beforehand, and then as long as it is in contact with our chakra or the body, it can teleport. Lin seemed to understand and asked, Teacher, then how do we start learning? Watergate introduced the teaching arrangement again. I will teach you the technique first, and then I will take you to cast the Flying Thunder God. You will feel the spatial node in the process, and finally cast the teleportation technique to resonate with this node. In the following time, the three of them quickly mastered the Flying Thunder God technique. The Flying Thunder God technique can be either a pattern technique or a text technique. Rin's Flying Thunder God technique is a cherry blossom. Kakashi's technique is a ninja dog. Only Obito is the written form. Lin no lifelong guardian. The moment she saw the Obito technique, Nohara Rinshi just wanted to bury her head in her chest. She was as thin as a mosquito fly. Teacher, bring the soil to mess around. Bo-Feng Shuaman naturally saw Obito's intention for Lin. After all, he was also from here, but he still persuaded, Obito, your technique is too obvious, it will expose your identity. Obito was unimpressed. It's okay, I just want everyone in the world to know that I want to protect Lin for the rest of my life. Watergate couldn't help him, so he went, and said positively. Time is limited, we will start the next step of the practice now. According to the teaching plan, Watergate led Kakashi and Rin to cast several Flying Thunder Gods, and instructed them on the teleportation technique respectively, and then let them practice on the side. Finally, it was Obito's turn. Obito, are you confident? Watergate asked. Obito said confidently, Teacher, you just teach. I can't learn, my name is written upside down. Quote. Watergate understands Obito's character, and it's not nonsense. Here we go. He held Obito's shoulder with one hand, and then shot kunai in all directions at the same time, and then the two figures began to flicker. Every time there was a flash, the figures of the two would appear in a bitter sword. In this way, in the blink of an eye, the Watergate flashed 8 or 9 times with the soil. The last time, it fell back to the same place. So fast. Obito said secretly in his heart. Obito, remember this feeling. Fuse the feeling of your instantaneous technique, and then sense the spatial node next to your technique. Watergate follows the good way. Obito did not answer directly, but recalled the center point of the space-time vortex when he exerted his divine power. Suddenly, he shot out a kunai engraved with Lin's guardianship, and then his figure flashed, and he appeared above Kuwu. Teacher, I understand. He grabbed Kuwu in midair with one hand, and said while turning his head towards the Watergate. Watergate. Circle.operator Omega Circle.operator. Just. Will it be? How long has it been? Is there 10 minutes? Watergate subconsciously asked. Obito, have you studied it before? Nope. Nothing difficult. Obito said of course. You know, in terms of complexity, Shinwei's requirements for time and space are even stricter than those of Flying Thunder God. He had used divine power all his life in his last life, and if he didn't even have this understanding, then he was not worthy of the surname Uchiha. Genius. Watergate couldn't help but praise, even if it was him. It took 3 months to comprehend the step of the time-space node. Just at this speed, it has been praised as a genius by 3 generations. Compared with Obito, what kind of genius is he? However, Watergate is also very pleased to have such talented students. What Konoha lacks now is such a living force. Obito's performance naturally caught Kakashi and Rin's attention. The two of them came over and asked, Obito, you learned. Obito put his hands in his pockets and said in a relaxed tone, it's not difficult. Kakashi. Quote. Rin. What's going on with you, really want to hit him? Well, then you are in charge of teaching Rin, and I will teach Kakashi. Watergate thought for a moment and muttered. For 3 days in a row, Kakashi, Rin, and Obito all practiced flying Thor at the training ground. Obito became an assistant teacher of Bofeng Shuaman, and was responsible for guiding the two during the time when Watergate was away. Kakashi is worthy of being a genius, and after 3 days of hard study, he has faintly gained some understanding of time and space. Although Lin's progress is slow, she is still stuck in the instantaneous technique, and the instantaneous technique is also used. The more the two learned, the more they could feel the horror of the talent of the soil, and when they practiced, this feeling was particularly obvious. Especially the understanding of time and space, often the places where the two are entangled, with soil can be pointed out sharply. Such a belt of soil gave them a sense of strangeness. Obito didn't know the little juju in the hearts of the two, he just wanted to teach them this god-level ninjutsu that could be attacked, retreated, and escaped. After all, no matter how strong they are, they must be able to last until the moment they arrive at the rescue. That night, Watergate led the three to the gate of Konoha village. Ju Shinai waited by early. She was wearing a housewife costume, her long red hair was draped over her shoulders, and the charm of a young woman was born. Ready? Bofeng Shuaman asked gently. Yes. The three of them were ready to go and spoke in unison. Ju Shinai, goodbye. Watergate took the lead to say goodbye to his wife. All right. Everyone should go all out. Ju Shinai's expression showed a hint of worry. Since that mysterious image was broadcast, the ninja world's hatred of Konoha has become increasingly high, so everyone should also be careful. Quote. Yes. Rin and Kakashi answered in turn. Only Obito looked unimpressed. Ju Shinai bent down and pointed to Obito, who was a head shorter than himself, and specially instructed, especially you, too sloppy, not flexible enough, and still a frizzy fool. If you dare to bring the injury back, then I will serve with my fists. Do you understand? Quote. In the face of the fierce master lady, Obito's heart is warm, and in the previous life, it will definitely quarrel with two mouths. At the moment, he only felt that the feeling of someone caring about him was precious, so he solemnly assured, there is nothing to worry about, I will definitely complete the task and send them all back safely. Quote. You'd better keep your promises. Ju Shinai stretched out his fist and fought hard. The two looked at each other and smiled heartily. Looking at the figure of the four people gradually leaving, Ju Shinai recalled the words that Watergate asked himself before leaving. Speaking of which, why do you like to bring soil so much? Because he's my dream. Dreams. One day, I hope that our children can also be optimistic, frank, and grow up to be with soil. He doesn't have to be so smart, he can even be arrogant, but he can cherish friendship, have an optimistic and brave heart and an unbreakable will. Endless grasslands, blue sky and white clouds, grass, gentle breeze. The four masters and apprentices walked on the grassland, except for bringing soil, their hearts were heavy. Kakashi will become a kami shinobi like me from today onwards. Wave Feng Shuaman suddenly spoke. Considering the efficiency of the mission, I decided to divide this class into me and Kakashiban, because Konoha is facing a serious lack of combat power. Quote. With the earthen jaw, it was all within his expectations. By the way, Obito, didn't I mention to you before that I wanted to give Kakashi a gift? Lin, carrying her orange school bag, turned her head and asked. Rin sent Kakashi medical kit, and Watergate sent a special kunai, which was printed with Watergate's Flying Thunder God technique. Obito smiled calmly. My gift is relatively rare. I have already told Kakashi. When this mission is over, I will give it to him. Forget it. I don't expect anything good you can give. Kakashi turned around and said coldly, after all, what is useless will only become a burden. Obito smiled and walked forward, rubbing Kakashi's shoulder. Hey, you're not angry that I didn't prepare a gift for you today, right? Yaga. There is no such thing. Believe me, my gift will definitely make you shine in the ninja world and become famous. That's the blood wheel eye. This sentence Obito was attached to Kakashi's ear. What are you two whispering about? Lin asked curiously. I said I'm going to send an adult manga to Kakashi. Obito turned his head, his face full of inseriousness. Bah! Lin Chao's face turned red, and she always felt that Obito had become very unorthodox recently. But, it's not annoying. That's nice. If there had been no war, they would have fallen in love in the village by now. Bofeng Shuaman looked at the three people talking and laughing, and couldn't help but think. The four of them traveled for a while and stopped to rest in a wood. So, let me explain this mission. Watergate took out the map and arranged the battle situation to the three small ones. First of all, you all know that the land of Earth is invading the Kusanagi village. Lin replied, yes. The speed of aggression is quite fast, and it is only a matter of time before it reaches the land of fire. Quote. No wonder Konoha is so nervous. Listen to their conversation and take the soil thoughtfully. Watergate continued. Yes. So we must stop them. This time the mission is to infiltrate the enemy's rear area and destroy this Shenwubi bridge used to resupply. That is, cut off the enemy's support skills. Kakashi understood Watergate's intentions. Then teacher, you are going to the front line to lure the enemy. Obito directly ordered Watergate's actions in this mission. This made the three people present couldn't help but look at him. Is this still the Obito we know? How did the IQ get higher? Watergate bowed. Obito, you are very smart. So teacher, have you ever considered what if our enemy in the rear is so strong that we are no match for us? After all, this is our first time on the battlefield, and the enemies are all battle-hardened invaders. Obito asked lightly, but his eyes were a little sharp. This. Watergate naturally considered this, but the luck psychology made him feel that he could fight, but it was a little embarrassing to be pointed out at the moment. Yaga. As a ninja, I naturally have to be prepared to sacrifice. Even if I die, I have to delay enough time for Watergate-sensei. Kakashi said disdainfully. It turned out that they had long been ready to sacrifice, but I was too naive in my previous life to realize it. Obito was silent. In short, I will go to the border with you and then part ways with you, and when the time comes, Kakashi will be your captain. Watergate made a round. Whatever about him, now I have double divine power, and I can fly the god of thunder. Those little minions of Yenian, I slaughter them like pigs. Obito sneered in his heart. Come on. The four of them stretched out their hands and joined together to cheer together. At the border of the land of fire, a primeval forest. Deep in the mountains and old forests, ancient trees are towering and cover the sky, making the forest look full of horror. No one knows what kind of danger lies in the shadows. The four people with soil walked slowly through the forest. Suddenly, Obito's ears moved slightly, and years of combat experience let him know that there was an ambush ahead. Here it comes. Iwane Shinobi Leech. Obito glanced at the wave feng shui gate and found that it also looked solemn. It is worthy of the yellow flash of Konoha, and the teacher's strength at this time has reached the shadow level. Obito thought. While thinking, Kakashi, who was walking in the front row, stopped everyone's advance. Watergate smiled satisfied. He was very satisfied with Kakashi's alertness. But the next moment, a terrifying aura came from the soles of his feet, and his heart froze, and he immediately raised his vigilance. How can there be such a strong person in the rear? Under 4 observations, no trace of the enemy could be found, which made Watergate's vigilance suddenly full. No one noticed that at this moment, Obito's eyes were blood red, and the mysterious jade pattern in his eyes was circulating. It was the twin Shenwei blood wheel eyes. With the blessing of the blood chakra eye of the two gods, the shadow in front of him was like nothing, and he quickly locked the position of the other party through the chakra circulating on the other party's body. 20 in total, all shadow doppelgangers, real behind that tree. Obito secretly estimated in his heart, and then put away the blood chakra eye. Disappeared. As soon as the nerves of the water gate relaxed, he felt the terrifying aura disappear, and he was surprised. Everyone be careful, there are about 20 enemies. Probably all shadow doppelgangers. Indeed, teacher, I rushed in, please cover me. Kakashi said confidently. Having just become a shinobi, he was eager to prove himself before his teacher and friend. Don't worry, Kakashi, sure enough, you better do support first. Watergate recalled Fang Kai's breath and said solemnly. When facing an unknown enemy, it is easy to fall into the trap if you attack rashly. Teacher, today I am the captain. I want to try the newly developed ninjutsu. Kakashi, however, had already sealed his hands, and a wave of thunder appeared from his hands, destroying the ground with great power. Such a powerful ninjutsu. Rin couldn't help but marvel. Obito and Watergate frowned in unison. In the face of an unknown enemy, it is already extremely dangerous to attack rashly, and the electric light of Chidori blocking his vision is even more deadly. Sure enough, the Watergate blocked it horizontally. Even if there are many enemies, you can definitely get it in an instant with this move, and teacher, you said, the captain is me, the team members should listen to the captain, this is the rule. Teacher. Quote. Kakashi still goes his own way. Seeing this, Watergate withdrew his hand. Obito watched coldly from the side, it's good to let this stupid child suffer some setbacks. Quote. Chidori gave Kakashi extremely fast speed, and under the dust, his figure flew out like an off-string arrow. I didn't expect you to dare to rush directly over. This kind of newborn calf's playing style really caught the opposite Iwayne shinobi demon leech off guard. But the experienced man reacted immediately, and several shadow doppelgangers emerged from the shadows of the trees, using dark weapons to interfere with Kakashi's path. Kakashi moved among the many dark weapons, and his body was agile, and he shot down with Chidori if he couldn't dodge. The water gate behind watched intently at Kakashi's attacking back, ready to rescue at any time. The bitterness just now made me establish the position of the enemy, and I have to prepare. Kakashi locked onto the position of the enemy in front of him and rushed straight over. Phew. The figure hurriedly dodged the flying dark weapon, but it was too late to avoid Kakashi. Bang! White smoke flashed, and Kakashi hit the target, but it was a shadow doppelganger. Is it just a shadow doppelganger? Since that's the case, then I'll break them one by one. Kakashi rushed to his next target like chicken blood. Watergate frowned secretly. Kakashi was not only reckless, but also ignored the existence of his teammates, such a captain was undoubtedly unqualified. Teacher, you protect Lin, I'll help him. At this time, Obito on the side said to him. Watergate glanced at Obito and said, be careful. Lin also instructed, be careful, bring the soil. Quote. Compared to the powerful Kakashi, she is more worried about the reckless Obito. Don't worry, Rin. Obito changed his usual hippie smile and ran towards Kakashi with a determined and confident gaze. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the ground. Die. Gremlin. The demon leech said with a sinister smile. Persimmon to pick and pinch softly. In his eyes, this smelly little devil and the dead girl in front of him were undoubtedly the shortcomings of this team. Unexpectedly, as soon as he burst out, he faced a pair of crimson blood chakra eyes. This is a terrifying aura completely enveloped him, and before he could react, he was stabbed. The white smoke flashed, and the shadow avatar disappeared. But the memories of the shadow avatar are then transmitted back to the body. What kind of eye is that? Konoha has blood chakra eyes. But how could it be like that? The demon leech shuddered when he thought of the pair of blood wheel eyes with strange jade patterns. Point and go, you have to find a way to get out. He made up his mind. At this time, Kakashi had already attacked his body. The other party is menacing and extremely fast, but my long knife is not a disadvantage. The demon leech is desperate, and the horizontal knife blocks it. Sure enough, Kakashi was too fast to dodge, and to outsiders, Kakashi was like hitting someone else's knife. If this time is true, Kakashi will have to be cut into 2 sections. Not good. Watergate had been keeping an eye on the movement here, just as he was about to come and save Kakashi in an instant. In a matter of seconds, a thin figure was faster than him, and it was Obito. I saw Obito flash in an instant, crashing into Kakashi, and he dodged the blade in a strange posture in the air. The two sides immediately retreated. Just appeared, is it that blood-wheeled little ghost, who cooperated with another imp to fight back. The demon leech hid after the operation, gasped for air, and cold sweat fell from his forehead. Konoha's little ghosts, what kind of monsters are they? Obito carried Kakashi and flew in front of the water gate, only to find that Kakashi was still stabbed in the shoulder. A nameless fire welled up from the bottom of his heart, and if he regarded Rin as his beloved, then Kakashi was his best friend. Seeing that Kakashi was injured, he was a little angry. Sensei, Rin, take care of Kakashi. I'll go back. Obito put Kakashi down and turned back. Yaga, you are not his opponent. Kakashi subconsciously blocked, but saw that Watergate was staring at Obito's back with amazement. The speed of bringing the earth to save you is better than me, and it is not much more than me. Watergate gave an extremely high rating. Isn't it? Is this still the crane tail I know? Kakashi said secretly. Obito didn't know that his teammate had mixed feelings in his heart, so he opened his blood chakra eye and locked on the opponent's position. The corners of the mouth split in a cruel arc. Piglet. Do you think of dancing too? Quote. The blood chakra eye gives him extremely high insight, so he doesn't need to use divine power, and he doesn't put it in his eyes. Abominable. Dead imps. When the leech heard a half-old imp call himself a pig cub, he was furious and his hands were sealed. 3 shadow doppelgangers appeared in front, still adopting the tactic of interfering with the audio-visual. Then the real body is to see and escape into the ground. It's just that all this is invisible under the eyes of the blood chakra with soil, including the position of the other party in the ground. I saw him lightly dodging the flying dark weapon. Then he took out several senbon from his waist, and then rushed forward while shooting at the other party with a flying needle-style senbon. Shinbin is like a flying needle, the lethality is not great, but the victory is in concealment, the attack speed is fast, and it is just right for several shadow doppelgangers. Just listen to the thumping sound. The 2 magic leech shadow doppelgangers disappeared instantly. The other one was also kicked away from behind by Obito, who came instantly. Just as Obito landed from the air. From the ground, the body of the leech emerged, and his face was hideous. Die. Stinky imp. In his eyes, Obito, who was in the air, had nowhere to borrow power. And the swing of the sword in his hand from the bottom up will definitely be able to split the Obito in half. But when he raised his eyes, he saw Obito on his head looking at him with a strange look. That is, the look in the eyes of the village butcher looking at the lamb to be slaughtered. In the next instant, the demon leech found in horror that the figure with soil was gone. Give you a chance, you are not useful. An icy voice came from behind him. Then there was only a fire in front of him. Ah! The forest echoed the screams of the leeches, and then stopped abruptly. Turning into char, he fell from the air. It turned out that he brought the earth-flying thunder god under him, and burned him to death with a powerful fireball technique. Piglets also want to dance. Only baked portions. Obito smiled dismissively. Turning back to his teammates, the teammates behind him looked at themselves in an unfamiliar light. Fang Kai watched the battle from the perspective of a third person, and saw that Obito's figure was like a ghost, quickly solving the demon leech shadow doppelganger. When facing the attack of the demon leech from the ground, everyone was worried about him, but they saw that he flew under the demon leech as if he knew in advance. Then his hands quickly pinched the print, and the How fireball was almost smooth. It feels like the magic leech is an actor invited by Obito. How can such Obito not be strange? Kakashi, are you okay? Obito was a little embarrassed to be stared at, and said with concern. It's okay. Kakashi spoke lightly. Obito, you did an excellent job just now. You can already endure it steadily. Quote. Watergate does not hesitate to praise. It's all the flying thunder god you taught is easy to use, I left a mark on the ground in advance. Obito snorted. Fang Kai's most direct method should be to blur himself, and then turn around and give the demon leech a cold heart. But that would expose himself, so he chose to use the flying thunder god to result in the other party. How fireball is Uchiha's ninjutsu, and it will not arouse suspicion either. Everything is within his calculations. Obito's brilliant performance impressed the other 3. Rin's eyes were full of radiance, and at this moment, Obito was in her heart, and he was a little substituted for Kakashi. Bofeng Shuaman raised his head and said solemnly. Kakashi, rules and regulations are indeed important, but they are by no means everything, and sometimes you need to react on an emergency basis according to the actual situation. He paused, and then said, don't use the ninjutsu just now, you concentrated the thunder attribute chakra a little, it did improve the destructive power and speed, but your own movement speed is too fast, you can't see the opponent's counterattack, so it's a ninjutsu that hasn't been completed yet. Kakashi's pupils contracted, and his expression was a little unnatural as he glanced at Obito on the side. Watergate Sensei's words, Obito also said a few days ago. Watergate, as a strong person with shadow-level strength, it is naturally not surprising that he can see the drawbacks of Chidori, but this fool with soil can also see it. For the first time, Kakashi felt frustration from the bottom of his heart. Fang Kai's performance with soil is remarkable, whether it is covering Kakashi's attack, or killing the enemy alone afterwards. In terms of combat IQ, reaction speed, and team cooperation, they are extremely outstanding. Bofeng Shuaman was extremely satisfied with the performance of the Earth-based talent, and his words were full of appreciation. Ha 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 ha, it was Kakashi who consumed the other party's physical strength first, and the victory belongs to our team. Obito said nonchalantly. Well said. That's what I'm going to emphasize next. The most important thing for ninjas is team cooperation, and this I didn't see just now. Watergate's tone suddenly became stern. The atmosphere dropped to freezing point, and the three people present hung their heads and remained silent, and everyone thought differently in their hearts. Kakashi reflected on himself, Rin fell into self-blame, and Obito was planning his next plan. Night. The four masters and apprentices set up camp here. Obito sat on a huge rock, staring at the moon in the sky, his eyes flashing, not knowing what he was thinking. There was a sound of insects chirping around, the sound of crackling, and the cool breeze mixed with the smell of earth. Obito. The water gate flashed behind Obito. Obito turned his head. Teacher, what's wrong? Watergate sat on the ground and said slowly, your performance today exceeded my expectations. Who called me a genius of Uchiha? Obito smiled slightly. Smelly fart said. Tomorrow, I'm going to the front. Kakashi is very talented, but after all, he lacks experience, so I am a little worried. Watergate first expressed his concerns, and then said, so, I want you to be the captain of this team. If it is you, you will definitely be able to lead them, successfully complete the mission, and bring them back to the village safely. After Obito listened, he said with an expressionless face, Teacher, changing the commander on the spot is a taboo for soldiers. This will not only hit Kakashi, but also easily cause differences in the team. Well, I understand that. Watergate didn't know this truth. Don't worry, teacher. I won't let either of them get hurt. They are both important ties in my life. Obito smiled slightly, dispelling Watergate's concerns. Obito, you are more mature than I thought. Watergate looked at Obito with relief. Obito's battlefield reaction, execution, and personal strength are all excellent. It's hard to imagine that this is a Zongnin who has just entered the battlefield. Moreover, he attaches importance to partners and knows how to work as a team, how to see and how to be satisfied. While the two were talking, the full moon in the sky changed again. The familiar transparent screen suddenly covered the position of the moon again, emitting a brilliant light. At the same time, the sound of mechanical radio came out again, breaking the silence of the night. In a minute, the system will play the second act. Capture Mitsuha Iso. Open discussion group now. After the animation is played, there will be a prize quiz. At that time, 3 lucky spectators who successfully guessed will be randomly selected. Please answer enthusiastically. It's here again. Watergate looked at the screen in the air and muttered. This ghost screen doesn't know where it came from, specifically playing what he did in his previous life. In this way, sooner or later his identity will be exposed. Obito smiled on his face and secretly complained in his heart. Suddenly, there were footsteps behind him. It turned out that Rin and Kakashi woke up passively in their sleep and came to the two of them. A minute passed quickly. Animations slowly appear on the screen. In the video, Faye, our next mission is to capture the 3 tails. Deidara said. 1 tail, 2 tails, I'm off Faye. Kidding, hee. A masked man who called himself Faye kept playing tricks at Deidara. Deidara, looking at the new companion in front of him, was extremely irritable in his heart. This chatter, the mouth has not stopped. The picture turned. In a small forest not far from the center of the lake, standing the stocking of Konoha. It's fogged, according to previous records, sometimes it is released by the three tails, which will cause hallucinations, be careful. The dark parts of Konoha were communicating. This is the first time I've heard of it. Deidara appeared behind them and said playfully. Konoha's dark part reacted extremely quickly and quickly retreated, but there was an extra clay spider on his shoulder, and it was too late to hide. I saw a flash of white light, and a large pit appeared on the ground, and two remains of the dark part of Konoha were scattered messily at the bottom of the pit. Oh, it's worthy of Deidara's senior, that's all that's going on. The mysterious masked man ran out from behind the tree and applauded. Deidara didn't bother to pay attention to this newcomer, summoned a bird, and went to the lake, intending to seduce Mitsuha Isoji out first. Deidara stood on the clay bird, holding a handful of clay spiders, and threw it into the lake. It's better to let him come out by himself faster. Drink. With a loud explosion, Mio Iso's anger surfaced. Looking at it this way, it really looks like a big turtle. It should look amazing, Faye praised. Sure enough, it's better to leave it to Senior Deidara. Faye seemed to have backed off. Ah Faye, you are also a member of Shao, let's hand it over next. Deidara was speechless at the chatter in front of her, determined to test his depths. How so? Faye wailed, and then hurriedly dodged Mioiso's angry blow. Deidara senpai, help. Deidara, speechlessly looked at Ah Faye, who was chased by the three tails on the lake. It's a shame. Bang. Ah Faye was taken to the bottom of the lake by Mioiso. Seeing this, Deidara anxiously flew to the three tails, and a clay monster fish was thrown into the lake by him and quickly swam to the head of the three tails. Drink. Deidara pinched the seal and controlled the strange fish to explode. I saw that Faye was blown out of the lake, and the three tails were also blown up and lost their combat effectiveness. Senior Deidara, did you see the ninjutsu just now? Kill this guy with one hit. Faye asked for credit. No, it's because of my art of detonating clay. Listen up to Faye, the three tails are very weak because they are not human pillar forces, but you must not be careless. Deidara said in the air to Faye seriously. Unexpectedly, Ah Faye was already lying on the belly of the three tails and sleeping soundly, and he was still chanting dream words in his mouth. No. The picture stopped abruptly. Ding. Let's move on to the prize quiz session. Question. Why did Mio Isoji lose consciousness? A. Deidara's use of detonating clay. Monster fish defeated. B. Severely injured by Deidara with C1. Clay spider. C. Hit Ah Faye's blood wheel eye illusion. D. Defeated by Ah Faye's physical technique. Discussion group open. Limited to 5 minutes. Please make your choice in time, and rewards will be awarded to 3 people who answer correctly. The system broadcast stopped, and the discussion group fried the pan again. Passerby A. This Faye is the mysterious masked man in the previous scene. Passerby B. I think so, but who is this Deidara? How did one ninjutsu blow up Mio Iso? Konoha handsome guy. It's impossible. That's a tailed beast. I feel that it is the black hand of the mysterious masked man under the lake. After all, he is the one who wants to start 4 battles. The strength is definitely not weak. As soon as these words came out, they immediately aroused many echoes. Iwane artist. Ahem. I feel that it may also be Deidara's doing. After all, you see that Ah Faye is still a newcomer. Yan. Yin leg shadow. Senior brother, don't make trouble. How powerful can your clay bomb be in the water? Can you take a tailed beast in seconds? Onoki. You both give me a mouth. Iwane artist. Withdraw a message. Iwahide leg shadow. Withdraw a message. But it was too late, and the entire discussion group saw these 2 living treasures. Konoha handsome guy. I'll go, I can still withdraw. Onoki, your Deidara from Iwahide village will become a traitor in the future. I suggest killing it directly now. Mist hidden ghost man. I agree. Everyone. Agreed. Iwane artist. HMPH. If you want to kill me, you forgot. Faye has blood chakra eyes. Konoha hand him over first. Konoha handsome guy. Huh. The blood wheel eye can be transplanted. That Ah Faye is wearing a mask. Who knows if another village stole our blood wheel eye. But your Deidara's appearance is clearly painted on it. Yenian. Artist. Yenian. Leg shadow. Don't say my senior brother, be careful that I let him blow you up. Quote. In reality, I also think that the masked man did it, what the handsome guy said is not unreasonable. Bofeng Shuaman thought for a moment, and had the answer in his heart. Lin Jia agreed, and asked, but how to choose C and D? The final image shows Mio Isoji lying on his back like a dead fish, dragged by Deidara on the lake. Therefore, there is no way to determine its mental state at that time. Obito, what do you think? Watergate asked for advice on soil. I must choose C, I don't know if I did it. Obito's gaze showed a hint of reminiscence. It should be C. That Iso looks like a big turtle. The turtle has rough skin and thick flesh. It is a tailed beast. What kind of physical skills can make it seconds at once? Obito casually found a reason to prevaricate. I agree with Obito, even our Konoha's 8 doors Dunja may not be able to do this. Kakashi, who had remained silent, said. Ooh. It's rare that Kakashi would agree with me, but it's a pity that you haven't seen the fully open 8-door Dunjia. With dark earth and dark belly. Then it's finalized. Let's choose C together. Rin smiled. It was rare that Kakashi and Obito could have a common point of view. The discussion group is still noisy. Konoha handsome guy. I think choosing D, that is, having 2 blood wheel eyes may not be able to control a tailed beast instantly, not to mention that Faye only has a single blood wheel eye. Quote. I'm going to marry a handsome guy. If he is really the legendary Uchiha spot, it is not impossible for a single blood wheel eye controlled tail beast. Konoha handsome guy. If Uchiha wants to live until now, there is only 1 breath left. And even more so 20 years from now. Quote. I'm going to marry a handsome guy. You have to ask you Konoha, he's your Konoha. Quote. Konoha handsome guy. Picky, huh? Just as the two of them were saying something, the radio sounded. Please make your choice within 1 minute. Iwane artist. You all believe in the masked man, I believe in myself, I choose A. Everyone. Get out. Quote. Time passes by minute by minute. Kakashi asked towards the water gate, Teacher, did you find that this Q&A did not see the figures of the high-level officials of the villages? Quote. Watergate jaw head. All villages are now at war, and the people in the discussion group should not have a task in them, like that Deidara. As far as I know, he is Onoki's personal disciple, a seed player in Iwahide village, and there is no him in this invasion war. Quote. The implication is that everyone who can be in the discussion group is idle. Serious people who are in the water. Rin, teacher, why are you called Konoha Golden Wheel Phantom Dance? This sudden question directly confused the water gate. He smiled awkwardly. Don't you think this name is cool? The 3 disciples present shook their heads in unison. It's too middle too. As he spoke, a minute passed quickly. When the answer time is up, the correct answer will be announced now. Except for Obito, all of the 4 held their breath, and this kind of moment was like a student stage. C. That's right. Yo Keita. That's great. Lin cheered. Discussion group. I'm going to marry a handsome guy. Then who? Come out and get beaten. Quote. Konoha handsome guy. Passerby A. It's good to follow the photo. Sister Hades chose C. Passerby C. I originally wanted to choose C, but it was the handsome guy who misled me on the dog day. Quote. Konoha handsome guy. Which village are you from? I'll apologize to you. Quote. Winners are now announcing their prizes. Congratulations to Wang Mumu for winning the reward, the ultimate chakra control. Congratulations to the Iwane artist for winning the reward, the body of dirt. Note. The pursuit of eternal art, fate gives immortal body, infinite chakra. Congratulations to Uchiha for getting the reward, Mio Iso. I lost it. What the hell is the body of filthy soil? Undead. Unlimited chakra. Isn't that invincible? And that Uchiha spot, he was also the last time he won the lottery. Discussion group. Shady curtain, that Uchiha spot won the lottery twice in a row. Send a tailed beast directly. Quote. Didn't the Iwane artist choose A? Are the people in Yenian village so cunning? No wonder this time under the pretext of invading the country of grass. Yenian artist. Shut up, believe it or not that labor and management blew up your village. Everyone. Although Deidara's arrogance, he does have this capital. Ask a madman who will not die, who dares to provoke. In reality. Sensei, Kakashi, Obito, I won the lottery. Lin froze in place for a moment, and then her face turned red, and she jumped up with Obito in her arms. That Wang Mumu is you. Watergate also smiled. Uh-huh. Lin nodded. Of the three rewards, Rin's reward looks the most unpretentious. Kakashi frowned in thought. What he said was the truth, as can be seen from the reactions in the discussion group, and the center of the topic has always revolved around the last two. Lin seemed to have been poured cold water, and her interest was a little low. Yaga, Kakashi, what do you understand? Obito looked at Rin's gloomy eyes, and suddenly became angry. Rin is a medical ninja, and chakra's control can raise her medical level to a higher level. Besides, giving chakra to muscles can increase strength, and the ultimate chakra can give Rin strange powers, just like Tsunade. Finally, of the three rewards, the body of the dirt looks like a tyrant, but what is the difference between it and the dead? And that Uchiha spot directly became the three-tailed human pillar force. Only Rin's reward doesn't have a little side effect, you know. Quote. With the soil, the mouth is like a river. Lin's beautiful eyes suddenly lit up, and Shui Lingling's eyes looked at Obito with a hint of strangeness. Kakashi was speechless. Bofeng Shuiman stared at Obito and said, Obito, don't be big or small, call Tsunade-sama. Quote. Tsunade and Jiraiya are also peers, and Jiraiya is also the teacher of Watergate, and after calculation, Tsunade is 2 generations older than Obito, and in the village of Konoha, which is humble and orderly, Shimokagami will provoke the wrath of the public. But a trace of doubt rose in Watergate's heart. Obito's age, he shouldn't have had the chance to see Tsunade-sama make a move. How did he know that Tsunade-sama had strange powers? Moreover, at his age, how could he know so much? Quote. If it weren't for the wartime now, Watergate would have asked about it. Closing the discussion group soon, now playing the second act Easter egg. Pretend to be a pig and eat a tiger, Afe picks 8. Now play the second act Easter egg. Pretend to be a pig and eat a tiger, Afe picks 8. In the image. In the dense forest, the branches are intertwined, the sky is cut into blue satin by towering trees, and the mottled points of light are swaying under the leaves, like mysterious eyes. Hello everyone. Faye stood on a branch overlooking the people of Konoha below, his face under the mask unreadable. I didn't expect to meet everyone in Konoha by chance in this place, and it's 2, 4, 6, 8. Afe wailed repeatedly. Death is determined, 8 against 1, I am really unlucky. Kakashi looked suspicious. In the list of members of Shao, there is no person like you, who are you? I am a newcomer to Shao, please take care of me. Faye introduced himself enthusiastically, and said, you won't underestimate me, will you? As he spoke, Faye chuckled, shadow doppelganger. As soon as the words fell, a spiral pill passing through his body, Naruto Uzumaki, who was sneaking up on his back, felt that he had hit the air, and his body instantly lost his balance and fell to the bottom of the tree. Oh, if you don't do anything to me, are you still observing the power of others? Won't you, don't you dare to make a move when you hit one of the 8. Afe, who seemed to have flashed a blow by chance, asked everyone under the tree, his tone extremely mocking. Naruto's attacks have all been flashed. Yamato calmly analyzed and said, in that case, let's attack with a B-type formation. Oh, finally have to be serious, then I have to pick up my spirits to deal with it. When Afe heard the sound, he also did a warm-up exercise on the spot. Sakura looked angry, grabbed Naruto, flicked it, and threw it at Faye. What an amazing weird girl. Faye was amazed, and then suddenly exclaimed, Nani, while I am attracted to attention, do you want to surround me with 3 people? That way, I don't even know which one to hide. It turned out that while Faye was looking at Naruto, Sakura, Inuya and his ninja had already deceived him. Konoha's guy is really cunning. While admiring, Faye had no danger, to avoid everyone's combined attack, and saw that the attacks of the 2 people and 1 dog were in vain. Faye suddenly looked up at the sky, pulled his throat and shouted, oh, it turns out that you are not a decoy, it's not good, you're going to be killed. I saw Naruto Uzumaki's spiral pill, in the middle, with soil, and then blew the ground out of a big pit, dusty. Hit. Naruto looked down happily, But there was no trace of Obito, and he was stunned in place, puzzled. How come? What about people? It's weird. Obito sprang out of the soil, knocked Naruto, and then pinched his hands with his hands. Ninfa. Forbidden passage. His figure flashed, past Naruto, and appeared in Kakashi, who took the opportunity to escape. Really? What do you say you want everyone to go together? Why did you run away? I almost believed it. Kakashi ignored Obito of the yin and yang chi and commanded. Don't stop, everyone, scatter and forcibly break through. Oops. Don't run, endure. Ninfa. The art of fighting moles. Obito looked at the scattered crowd and, panicked, into the ground. The next moment, he took turns knocking on the heads of the scattered Konoha people, not very hurtful, extremely insulting. Being so troubled by him, everyone in Konoha stopped and scattered and gathered together again. Yamato's expression was grim. Captain, if you don't seriously knock this guy down, it seems that you can't move forward. Hey, what's going to be played next? Faye seemed to be playing and couldn't wait to ask. Abominable. Now is not the time to dwell here. Naruto Uzumaki was angry and anxious. I know, attack with formation next. Yamato. Kakashi greeted Yamato. Yamato comprehended the spirit, raised his hands and used the surrounding tree trunks to bind Faye with wood. It's so painful. Faye seemed to be unable to dodge, and his head was stuck deadly. I'm catching you now. Yamato was satisfied, and his pupils shrank suddenly. How is it possible? It turned out that Faye seemed to suddenly shrink his bones, broke free of his restraints, and fled to another tree. Oh, people's bodies want to be soft. In that case, I'm going to fight back. Occult. Kakashi saw Obito put his hands together, reacted quickly, and shouted, not good, spread out quickly. In the next second, the imaginary terrifying ninjutsu did not appear, and only heard, secret law. Umbrella lizard. The auspicious cloud robe on Faye's body hangs down due to gravity, making him look like an upside-down bat. Faye looked at everyone's shocked appearance, scratched his head and said, sorry, this technique is only like this. The successive jokes were funny, making everyone in Konoha present angry, and then they all made strange moves, but none of them failed, and they could only be incompetent and furious. At this moment, Faye seemed to have played enough, and said, sorry, pause first. I saw that beside him, an aloe-like creature drilled out. He was black and white, like a human and inhuman. It was the white abject manipulated by Highway. Faye's tone was calm and asked, how is it? Kuro said, it's over, Sasuke won, he killed Uchiha Itachi. How so? It's really. It was just as I expected. Faye first snorted, and then looked playfully at Naruto below. So, I'll deal with you later. A heavy and thick voice came from under the mask, and a three-hook jade blood wheel eye stared directly at the people below, and a murderous aura followed. Everyone broke out in a cold sweat. That's it, blood wheel eye. Kakashi said in disbelief. Goodbye. With a wave of Faye's left hand, the person slowly disappeared into the air, as if it was slowly swallowed by the surrounding space. Who the hell is it? This is the end of the Easter eggs. The discussion group fries the pan again. Someone mocked, Konoha's ninja are too wasteful. 8 hit 1, and was run away unscathed. Konoha handsome guy. Yaga, are you blind? Didn't you see that Faye pretended to be a pig and eat a tiger? Iwane. Artist. Blood wheel eyes, white eyes, strange power, insect art, ninja dogs, and even Mu Duan. Konoha is really a means to exhaust Iwahide leg shadow. What's the use? None of them hit anyone. That Faye used some children's tricks from beginning to end, if he thought, these 8 people in Konoha are dead. Quote. Now that it is the third battle, Konoha and Iwane village are exchanging fire. Such a good opportunity, the Iwane brothers and sisters grabbed Konoha and began to cannon. Without waiting for Konoha's people to fight back, the system announcement sounded. Discussion group closed. Back to reality. Kakashi's face was not angry. As a ninja of Konoha, he was so taunted by the enemy, and his young heart surged with 3 points of anger in his heart. Bofeng Shuiman's mood was stable, but he seemed to see a clue and asked, Kakashi, do you know this Faye? Quote. Kakashi thought for a moment and shook his head. In fact, his heart stirred up terrifying waves, and he really had a blood wheel eye in the image. Could it really be sent by that stupid person? Kakashi recalled that Obito promised to give him a blood chakra eye a few days ago, but he was not impressed at first. The blood chakra eye outflow is such a thing, the Uchiha family will not allow it. This can be seen from the caged bird of the Hyuga family, and the blood succession limit family will not allow outsiders to interfere with their abilities. The proud Uchiha family does not have caged bird ninjutsu, their way is more direct. Kill 100 people, who dares to covet the blood wheel eye, let him pay the price of blood. Without this kind of boldness and strength, the Uchiha family would have been exterminated long ago, and it would not have been passed down from the warring states period to this day. So when he saw that he had the blood chakra eye, Kakashi's first reaction was incredible. That guy with soil, where did you get it? Then there is the doubt, how can the Uchiha family give up? Why did this guy with Obito suddenly become mysterious? Kakashi muttered in his heart. On the other side, Obito watched as Watergate and Kakashi began to explore Faye's true identity, and decided to divert the topic. He blinked and asked, "Sensei, have you noticed that yellow-haired boy, everyone calls him Naruto?" Quote. Jushinai is pregnant, and the few of them naturally know that they are disciples, and they also know that Watergate named his son Naruto. Sure enough, Watergate smiled slightly, and continued, "Yes. He can also spiral pills." Seeing Naruto's yellow hair, coupled with his repeated use of spiral pills, he had already identified Naruto's identity. That should be more than 10 years later. Naruto has grown so big. Lin asked puzzled, spiral pills. Is it the powerful chakra ball in his hand? She remembers that ball smashed a big hole in the ground. Watergate bowed, then stretched out his hand, chakra spiraled condensation in his hand, and a spiral pill appeared in the palm of his hand. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Kakashi felt the immense power contained in the spiral pill, and its power was definitely not lost to his own Rachet. This is my self-created S-level ninjutsu by observing the tailed beast Jade. Naruto in the video seems to be more skilled than me. Watergate said gratifyingly that it is every father's wish to hope for a son to become a dragon. I wonder what Naruto's personality is. Did you look like Jushinai? Quote. Watergate suddenly missed his wife and unborn son. Tomorrow, I will split into 2 groups with you, and then I hope that you will cooperate sincerely, complete the mission together, and then return to Konoha safely. Bofeng Shuaman greeted, and let the 3 little ones go to rest. Late at night, the sound of even breathing sounded in the barracks. In the darkness of the night, a pair of eyes opened. It's not that Obito doesn't want to sleep, but in the spirit world, there is an extra big guy. In that prize quiz, he won again, and the system rewarded him with 1, Mio Iso. In other words, he inexplicably became a 3-tailed human pillar force. A spiritual world with soil. Mio Isoji was roaring nonstop. Little ghost. What tricks did you play? I stayed in the lake well, sealed inside you in the blink of an eye. Obito looked innocent. I don't know. I just randomly picked AC, and that screen gave you to me. Miao Iso smiled and said disdainfully, you humans are not good things, you just covet the power of our tailed beasts. After listening to it, Obito looked playful and asked rhetorically, you have been moved by us humans, what else is there to say? That Uchiha one-eyed dragon took advantage of my unpreparedness and controlled me with illusions. If he fights properly, how can he help me? Iso's tone was full of disbelief. Is it? The one-eyed dragon you are talking about won't be me, right? Obito appeared with 2 divine mighty blood chakra eyes and looked directly at Iso. You. Who are you? At your age, how can you have kaleidoscopic blood wheel eyes? As if he had seen a ghost, his huge body took a step back. Don't worry about this, Iso, let's make a deal. Obito jumped and lay on top of Iso's head. HMPH. Cunning humans, what deal? Quote. Iso was jealous of Obito's strength and did not immediately resist. Do you want your grandfather? Obito lay on top of Iso's head and said faintly. Iso smiled. I'm different from you humans, I was born to raise without a grandfather. I mean, 6 Dao immortals, big tube would you? Obito said lightly. Who the hell are you, and how do you know the name of the old man? Iso was shocked and said in disbelief. Oh yes, let's know, my name is Uchiha Obito, and Fei in the image is also me, to be exact, it is me more than 10 years later. Obito grinned. In addition, I know that there will be a great change in the ninja world in the future. I need your strength, and in return, I will let you see Itsuki Hakai, and let you go free afterwards, how about it? Quote. A sea change. It is clear that you are going to provoke the fourth ninja battle. Oh yes, you also want to open the Moon Eye plan, recycle the tailed beast, and become a 10-tailed human pillar force. You just killed me, and I won't cooperate with someone like you. Quote. Iso's violent shaking threw Obito to the ground, and if it were in reality, it would have to crush this shameful human being. Don't be impatient, Iso, don't be impatient. I won't kill you, in fact, you and I are the same body now, if anyone wants to kill you, they must step through my body first. Obito stood up and said positively, the me in the image is not the me in this life. When I was deceived by Uchiha and became a pawn, now I live again for a lifetime. I want to be a good person and make up for my sins. This sentence, Obito held in his heart for too long. He knew that outsiders would not believe it, and now he finally had the opportunity to say it. Isoji taunted, why should I trust you? You Uchiha clan are all evil. I said, this is a deal, as the two sides of the transaction, we are equal, if you don't want to, I won't force you. Obito shrugged. Iso, now that I am your human pillar force, please forgive me for not releasing you, because if you are extracted from my body, I will die. So I have to work hard for you to stay inside me for a while, and when I find a way, I will let you out. After speaking, Obito withdrew from the spirit world. Isoji stayed alone in the spiritual world of Obito, and emptiness, dazed emotion struck. Alas! It closes its eyes and chooses to sleep long. In reality. Call. Obito exhaled, his heart mixed. Iso's discooperation was unexpected, and although Madara in his previous life taught him to use the blood chakra eye to control the tailed beast's magic seal, he didn't want to use it. Having seen Naruto's nine-tailed mode, he knew that the perfect tailed beast and the tailed beast controlled by the blood wheel eye were very different in combat power. Most importantly, live again, he really wants to be a good person. The next morning, the east had just turned white, and a layer of ethereal mist was like clothes draped over the bodies of the four people with soil. They got up early and were ready to go. Everyone. Yesterday's enemy just happened to scout alone. Next, you will face team battles, be careful. There was a hint of worry in Bofeng Shuaman's eyes, and he instructed Kakashi, Kakashi, although you are the captain, you must follow the advice of the team members and avoid arbitrariness. Kakashi bowed, yes, sensei. Quote. So everyone, come on. Watergate. Made a gesture. Scatter. Kakashi, I suggest the next action, I will take the lead, Rin in the middle, you break off. Obito said to Kakashi. Obito stands at the front of the team, not only will not expose the eyes of the double god power blood chakra, but also can detect danger in advance, which is undoubtedly the best for the entire team. In this way, Lin can also be best protected. Kakashi thought of Watergate's instructions and agreed. Next, Obito led the two to quickly shuttle through the bamboo forest. The traps encountered along the way could not be hidden under the inside of the blood chakra eye. Fire. The art of fireballs. Quote. With a mighty fireball, the bamboo spears that fell from the sky were burned to ashes. Then, he reached out and stopped the latter two from moving forward. Rin and Kakashi stopped where they were, looking admiring. On this road, there was soil opening the road ahead, and they traveled very easily and at a very fast speed. Because Obito can always avoid or destroy traps set by enemies in advance. This made the whole team march almost without stopping. Suddenly, Lin suddenly raised her hand and signaled her teammate to stop. Two mongrels, let me meet you. Naturally, he was referring to the other two companions of the leech. In the previous life, one of the two robbed Rin and the other blinded Kakashi. In this life, he wants to play with them. At the same time, behind the boulder not far from the three people with soil. Iwane Shangnan Shinobu Dashi looked at the figure of the three people with soil, and said disdainfully, that guy from the demon leech, after going out to investigate for so long and hasn't come back, shouldn't it be folded in the hands of these three little ghosts? What a waste. Yinian Shang Shinobu smiled coldly, staring at the Lin standing at the front of the team with a hint of lewdness in his eyes. Isn't it? Just try it. He pinched the seal with one hand. Ninfa. Camouflage hidden. The whole person then disappeared into the surrounding environment, like a chameleon. Eager guy. Dashi snorted coldly, then threw out a detonation charm, and then jumped. The violent booming sound attracted the attention of the three Obito, and the sudden appearance of large stones made them all on guard. Kakashi drew his sword forward and engaged Dashi short. The sound of weapons colliding is endless. Obito frowned slightly. Kakashi, this idiot, the number of enemies is unknown, you should keep the formation and observe first. Suddenly, he sensed a transparent figure approaching behind him. Finally here. Firelight's figure appeared, and he stunned Rin with a slash of his hand. At this time, the big stone in front of him also arrived to meet with the Firelight. Then this girl, I will take it. Firelight's treachery succeeded, and he smiled proudly. Dashi also smiled. This is the usual trick of the two, and you can taste the taste of the little beauty in a while. He licked his lips. He had been worried for many days, and now he needed to find a place to vent. What a female ninja of this age. The most is the water spirit, like a flower bone with buds waiting to be put. The two looked at each other and decisively threw out a smoke bomb. Remove. Not long after the two left. Kakashi, who remained in place, looked at each other with Obito. Suddenly, Obito lifted the transformation technique and returned to its original appearance, and it was Lin. Kakashi frowned. What the hell is this guy with Obito? 10 minutes ago, Obito suddenly proposed to swap looks with Rin. Obito becomes Rin's appearance, and Rin becomes Obito, but the position remains the same. At first, Rin and Kakashi didn't understand, but now it seems to have a deep meaning. Lin's pretty face was full of worry. Thanks to Obito, it should have been me who was kidnapped. Kakashi, let's hurry up and save Obito. This guy with soil always seems to be able to anticipate the enemy plane first. Lin, let's finish the task first. Kakashi said towards Rin. Kakashi, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Rin stopped and turned her head to ask in disbelief. The two of us, just continue the mission. Kakashi's eyes dodged. That. What to do with soil? Rin got a little agitated, trying to suppress her volume and trying to convince Kakashi. Save after bringing soil, he dares to pretend to be you, which shows that he is confident, and the enemy will probably not kill him immediately in order to know our plan. Kakashi calmly analyzed. In his eyes, the task is greater than everything. What is the difference between a person who does not follow the principles, and waste? These are all your speculations. What if there is an accident with Obito? Kakashi, I think Obito's safety comes first. Lin, who has always been a good talker, was unexpectedly firm this time, and she couldn't give up the rescue because of a few inferences. That is Obito, who cares for her and cares for her. The one who asked her to watch herself become a Hokage, and also threatened to make herself a Hokage lady. Kakashi still adhered to his principles. Rin, you must know that if you are a ninja, even if you sacrifice your partner, you have to carry out the mission. But Obito was taken for me. Or to put it another way, Kakashi, if I were taken away, would you not? Will you prioritize completing tasks? At the end of Lin's words, her tone trembled slightly. Of course. If you delay the mission to save you, it may lead to more deaths. Kakashi hesitated for a second and gave the answer. Rin's eyes widened suddenly, her pretty face turned pale, and a flame in her heart gradually extinguished, and a huge disappointment enveloped her body and mind. At this moment, she seemed to be drained of strength and collapsed to the ground weakly. All this time, Kakashi has been her light, her role model, and her driving force. It is the white moonlight in the girl's heart. But now, she feels that she is looking at the wrong person. Partners who have grown up together since childhood are not as ridiculous as inferences. Rin only knew that if Obito died because of a few hypotheses about the pros and cons of war, she would regret it for the rest of her life. She struggled to her feet, deciding to disobey the captain's order, so she said decisively to Kakashi, Captain Kakashi, then you go and complete the mission. I'll go and save Obito myself. Quote. Lin was reincarnated, her beautiful eyes under her forehead shining with tears and full of death. A man who is willing to be in danger for himself, and another man who gives up his own for the task. At this moment, she chose the former. It is a pitch-black and narrow cave with rugged walls and potholed surfaces, which seem to have been temporarily carved out with ninjutsu. Large stones and firelight put Lin down against the wall. What a delicate flower, the girl of Konoha is the water spirit. I'm going to love her a little later. Fire. Rubbed his crotch, a little impatient. I'm going to play all day and make her flutter. Dashi also said with a smile. The old rule, you first, I will go out to ambush, and when those two imps come to the rescue, I will take the opportunity to slaughter them. The firelight suppressed the evil fire, and said cunningly. Dashi was naturally happy. I'm okay with that. Just. When the two were about to divide the work. Hee, don't go together, let's go together. Shrill and eerie sounds echoed through the cave. The big stone and the firelight gave goosebumps, looked around, and said in shock. Who? The two stood up on guard, facing the entrance of the cave, and stood horizontally. The cave is so narrow that if someone sneaks in, they will definitely notice it, unless the other person. A master. I just said that I want to love people well, why did I forget this? The voice came from behind, and the two turned around like an electric shock, and quickly retreated, opening up a distance. I saw that the originally petite and soft Konoha female ninja turned into a little ghost wearing goggles. Maid, you've been tricked. Dashi spat. Slaughter him. Firelight's eyes were full of anger, and he said, Ninfa. Camouflage hidden. Interest. Was disturbed, and Dashi had nowhere to vent his anger, looking at Obito curled up on the ground, murderous. He instantly walked in front of Obito, and the short blade in his hand directly wiped at his neck carotid artery. Precise and ruthless. Phew. The expected scene of cutting blood vessels and blood splattering did not appear, and the short blade cut through the air, and there was a sound of breaking the air. Huh. Odd. Empty. Quote. He was a bit incredible, and immediately rounded up and hit again. Empty again. Oops. You have bad eyes, it's better to cut it. Obito's mocking voice sounded in his ears again, and then his hand rose and fell, from the bottom up, blinding Dashi's left eye. Ah. Dashi covered his eyes and pulled back, and a cloudy black and white liquid mixed with blood flowed down. Who the hell are you? Obito got up, patted the dust on his body, and then took out a whirlpool mask from the Kamui space and brought it up. He specially bought it in Konoha's shop, and I have to say that since the appearance of the mysterious masked man, this kind of swirl mask has been popular in Konoha's mask shop. It's just that in order to satisfy the wearing of most people, this whirlpool mask has 2 holes. Zhao, do you look at me, don't you look like that Afe? Obito did not answer directly, but asked rhetorically. Pretend to be a ghost. The fire hidden in the darkness said disdainfully. Afe is 1 meter and 8 meters tall, and with soil, it looks like it is about 1 meter 6. The oppression they bring to them is very different. I don't know what's going on with Dashi, I can't even figure it out of a little ghost, and I'm injured. There was no light source in the cave, so he did not see how his companion had been injured. Is it? But I'm really Fei. With a flash of earth, the flying thunder god flashed behind the firelight, and Kuwu pierced his waist in an instant. When Fang Kai was held by the firelight, he took the opportunity to plant the flying thunder god technique. Ah! Blood dripped from the flaming waist, and his face turned pale with pain. He appeared from the darkness and said in disbelief, Impossible, how can you see me? Then he met the scarlet eyes on the mask and said in shock, Then. What kind of eye is that? Obito scoffed, it's the eyes of the flower bones. Then the kaleidoscopic blood chakra of his left eye flowed, facing the mouth of the cave. Kamui. Ah! With a scream, the right leg of the big stone that slipped to the entrance of the cave was twisted into a little and torn off alive. Weakly fell to the ground. How the hell did he do it? Dashi thought about breaking his head, and he couldn't figure out how Obito twisted his leg so far away. Shinobi. The art of fighting moles. Obito drilled in front of him, hit him on the head with kunai, and joked, Say yes together, why do you want to run? Abominable. Die. Dashi looked at Obito who was close at hand, and suddenly burst out and stabbed Obito fiercely. Burst. Empty again. Oops, it's not fighting again. Behind him came a mocking sound with earth. At this time, Dashi only had fear left in his heart. You. Who are you? Firelight asked as he covered his waist and asked Obito. All said, I'm off. Obito looked up at the firelight. The next moment, Firelight's left arm was also torn off by Shinwei. He exclaimed in pain, blood splattered, and his body was sore and weak. Obito carried the head of the big stone, dragged him, and walked step by step towards the firelight. Looking at the enemy in front of him, he suddenly wanted the other party to feel the pain that Lin had endured in his previous life. Do me a favor between the two of you, and I'll let one of you leave. Attention, only 1-0. Quote. I came up with a multiple choice question. What's the favor? I'll help me. Huogong saw the hope of life and quickly nodded. Having lost too much blood, he could no longer have the mind to resist, and his mind was full of only thinking about survival. Suddenly, a sharp pain came, he felt that he flew out, and before he lost consciousness, he saw the remains of his severed head. Companion Dashi put away the short knife in his hand and said with a flattering smile, let me come. Gee, you're really rubbish, even your companions can get their hands on it. Obito kicked the head that rolled to his feet and laughed at Oishi with disdain. Yes, I am trash, I just ask you to raise your noble hand and let me go. Dashi's face was no longer fierce, only fawning, like a pug. You get out of this cave, and then make a seal and blow this cave up. Obito ordered. It's that simple. Quote. Obito didn't expect Obito to make this request. Obito said impatiently, don't make me say it a second time. Okay. Dashi struggled to get up, jumped on one foot, supported the potholed cave wall, and staggered out of the cave. Out of the cave, his flattering face narrowed, his eyes showed fierceness, and he shouted, Die. Tu Duan. Iwashukan. Quote. The cave collapsed instantly, crushing the soil inside. Ha 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 ha. Dead little ghost, this you are not dead yet. Dashi said with a sinister smile, just trying to stop the bleeding for himself. A scene that shocked him happened. I saw that Obito was like a ghost, growing out of the rubble. Ah yes, I said to let you go, but I didn't say how to put it. With a slap of Shinwei, he ripped off the right arm of the big stone, and then burrowed into the gravel pile again. Leaving a large stone with only half of his body left, he lay on the ground, screaming and screaming. Does it hurt? Less than 1/10,000th of my previous life. Listening to the other party's miserable cries, Obito sneered. The other side. Rin shuttled through the woods, anxiously looking for a trace of Iwahi. Obito, where are you? She uses the tracking skills she learned in ninja school to look for possible footprints along the way. But the other two were up, and did not leave her the slightest trace to track. This made Lin's heart sink to the bottom. After the other party discovered that, himself, was a transformation technique, he was likely to be angry and kill Obito to vent his anger. The more she thought about it, the more scared she became. The loss of Obito was an unbearable pain in her life. What to do? What to do? In a hurry, she suddenly heard an earth-shattering sound, which seemed to be the sound of a mountain rock collapsing. It's Obito. Lin followed the direction of the voice and hurried towards this side. It didn't take long to reach its destination. When I entered my eyes, I saw a large stone lying dying on the side. Dashi already has less air intake and more air outlet. He heard the noise, barely raised his eyes, and begged, help. Help me. Quote. What about Obito? Rin asked anxiously. Dashi subconsciously pointed to the pile of rubble. Rumble. Lin Chao's face turned pale, as if she had been hit by 5 thunders. With soil buried inside. Obito. Rin's eyes were red, and she ran to the rubble pile in a hurry and rummaged through it. Green jade fingers cut through the gravel, sharp edges and corners cut through her skin, and she didn't feel pain. These gravel add up to 1,000 pounds, but the soil is pressed under it at the moment. The pile of rubble in front of her was like a cemetery, haunting Lin's heart, and she didn't dare to think about it further. Lin, I'm here. Lin struggled to remove a stone and heard a weak cry. It's Obito, where are you Obito? She hurriedly responded. I'm here. Obito's weak voice came back to his ears. Rin followed the sound and saw half of Obito's body emerge from the stone. Her eyes were black and she almost fainted. Obito. Lin screamed miserably, tearing her heart out. Half of Obito's body was pressing under the boulder, and one hand was weakly stretched outside. She hurriedly stepped forward and took Obito's hand. The tentacles were cold, and her heart was dripping blood. Obito, you hold on. Rin got up and struggled to push away the boulder in front of her, which was taller than her. The result was only in vain, and despite her blushing face and exerting all her strength, she still couldn't shake the boulder by half a point. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she hated her powerlessness. At this time, the other pair of hands also pressed on the boulder, exerting force with her. It's Kakashi. Rin didn't bother to ask him why he was here, she only saw a glimmer of hope, and she used all her strength to push the boulder away. The result is still in vain. It's useless. You two stay some strength. Quote. The sound of Obito is as thin as a mosquito fly, as if it will disappear at any moment. Deep despair enveloped Rin and Kakashi. Obito stretched out his hand, hard, as if trying to grasp something. Lin leaned forward and cried silently, Obito, it's all because of me, it's all because of me. Obito stroked Rin's pretty face and whispered, I don't blame you. It's me who is too confident. I thought I could directly result these two, but I didn't expect them to fight back and collapse this cave. Lin's shoulders trembled with sobs, it's that I'm too useless to help a little. Quote. Alas. Looking at Lin's pitiful and heartbroken appearance, Obito was not distressed. But if the mysterious screen continues to show images of his past life, his identity will be revealed, and Rin will be implicated. In desperation, he had to make a plan, and this scene came about. It's just that now looking at Lin's morning appearance, she blames herself with a heart. Lin, forgive me. Obito muttered. Forgive you for what? Lin raised her beautiful eyes, tears in her eyes, and asked puzzled. Forgive me for not being able to be by your side anymore. Obito hurriedly looked for a patch. Rin wanted to say something comforting to make Obito feel better, but when the words came out of her mouth, she couldn't say them, and she stuck in her throat. There is an enemy attack. Just as Rin was heartbroken, Kakashi jumped out of the stone pit. Looking at Lin kneeling on the ground, a trace of unbearability crossed her eyes, but she reminded herself, Lin, come up quickly, it's too late. Rin ignored it, she was determined to stay by Obito's side. Lin, go quickly, live well. Obito pushed her away and said, go quickly, it'll be too late in a while. Remember to complete the task, just fulfill my long-cherished wish. Rin clenched her teeth, still unmoved. Let's go, please. Seeing this, Obito hurriedly begged. Lin looked at Obito's weak and helpless appearance, and could only be ruthless and stand up. She glanced back one last time at Obito, trying to imprint him on her heart. Let's go, Lin. Kakashi held out his hand. Goodbye. Beautiful jade. Obito smiled at her. Rin turned resolutely, grabbed Kakashi's hand, and jumped into the pit. In the distance stood the reinforcements of Yenian village. One of the slender Yenian youths made a mark, Tuden. For a while, the ground shook, and a crack spread out from the middle, hitting Rin's location. She hurriedly dodged, but the stone pit behind her collapsed even deeper. Countless rubble will be buried with soil, and the site will be completely turned into a grave with soil. Obito. Lin's hoarse shouts echoed through the woods. Only after losing can people understand the preciousness they had in the past. Obito's former voice and appearance flashed in his mind. The world she wants is a world with soil. From then on, the world lost all hues for Rin. Ding dong. The sound of several weapons colliding pulled her from her stunned back to reality. Rin saw Kakashi facing the Iwane 4. With one enemy and 4, he was immediately in the downwind, and between several back and forth, he was in danger many times. I'm going to complete the task for Obito. She recalled Obito's dying instructions and stood up. Extreme chakra control emerged from the palm of her hand, and at this moment, she felt that her hands were like scalpels. In an instant, she came to the side of the Yenian young man, and gently brushed the young man's thighs and biceps. Then he instantly turned behind another middle-aged man with a big waist and a hand knife slashed at the opponent's neck. Finally, he instantly walked to Kakashi's side and stood side by side with him. The young man of Yenian just wanted to pursue, but he lost the perception of his thighs and biceps, and knelt on the ground weakly. And the middle-aged man is even worse, he wants to stretch out his right hand to grab Lin, but his body involuntarily steps away from his left foot, wants to withdraw his left foot, and stretches out his left hand uncontrollably. All of a sudden, his face was full of shock. You. How is it done? Go underground and ask for soil. Lin replied coldly. She just used the ninja school's knowledge about the structure of the human body. First use a chakra scalpel to cut off the nerves of the enemy's biceps and thighs, and then disturb the spinal nerves of the second place. You know, the brain controls the limbs and torso rely on nerve electrical signals to transmit information, and the chakra scalpel uses this to turn chakra into electrons, create an electric field, and pour into the other party's nervous system, so as to achieve the goal. This knowledge seems simple, but it is not easy to use, and it requires precise control of chakra to generate chakra scalpels. Of course, these truths, Lin naturally will not reveal to the enemy. Yan Yin lost 2 combat powers, and the remaining 2 looked at each other and retreated. So each of them held a companion, jumped in shape, turned and withdrew. Kakashi tried to take advantage of the victory and pursue, but was stopped by Rin. Poor Ko-mo chase. Rin was half kneeling on the ground, panting heavily. The teleportation technique and the chakra scalpel were extremely physically exhausting, and she barely rested along the way by rushing and carrying gravel. Fang Kai is already at the end of the strong crossbow, just holding on hard, and now the adrenaline is fading, and the exhaustion is storming. She climbed to the pile of rubble and stroked the pile of hard stones, her eyes showing deep affection. When it was dark in front of him, he fainted next to the stone pile. As night falls, the evening breeze blows and the leaves rustle. Rin woke up from her coma and blurted out, "Obito." Realizing that Obito had fallen, he couldn't help but look gloomy. "You're okay. Beautiful Jade." Bofeng Shuaman said with concern. "Teacher, why are you here?" Lin found Watergate sitting next to her and was surprised. "Aren't you supposed to be on the front line?" Watergate knew that there would be such a question, so he showed the kunai in his hand and explained, "This is the kunai I gave to Kakashi, and it has my Flying Thunder God technique on it." Lin nodded, her tone almost choked. "Teacher, take the soil. He's dead." Quote. "I already know the beginning and end from Kakashi's mouth, Obito. It's good." Bofeng Shuaman also let out a long sigh. Obito's death was really unexpected. He thought that with the Flying Thunder God, Obito and Kakashi should be able to easily solve those scattered enemies. "I don't want to. Speaking of which, I am also responsible for the death of Obito." Watergate looked remorseful. Lin shook her head, stood up tremblingly, walked to the open place, and looked at the moon in the sky stunned. The evening breeze blew through, blowing a strand of her blue silk, but it could not disperse a little thought. On the other side, Obito rushed through the mountains and forests at great speed. During the day, he guarded Lin, who had fainted in the past, until Watergate appeared. With the teacher here, Rin is safe for the time being. Now, I'm going to fix my thing. Quote. Shenwubi Bridge is very close to Kaoyan Village, and in a hidden cave below Kaoyan Village, there is the culprit who caused his tragedy in the previous life. Uchiha Madara. It's time to wrap things up. Obito is not worried about his strength, Madara is clear about the situation, and he only has one breath left. If it weren't for the support of the 6 gods and the cells between the pillars, they would have died a long time ago. However, to be on the safe side, Obito decided to convince people with reason. After all, Madara, that old thing, looks like it's about to swallow, and the devil knows what whole cards are hidden behind it. Cemetery of the Mountains. This was originally a huge natural underground cave. The cave was dark and humid, the cave extended in all directions, and the entire cave area was very large. The hideous-looking outer path golem is right in the center of the mountain cemetery, and its height reaches to the top of the cave, which looks like a hill from a distance. The ugly and domineering golem just standing there brings great psychological pressure. On the stone chair directly in front of the golem sat an elderly man, with gorgeous hair, a twilight posture, and skin like the bark of an old tree. 3 white pipes connected him to the outer path golem behind him. His eyes are extremely deep and shining, like a scarlet abyss, and like a bright red star on the edge of the Milky Way. As long as he sits there, he exudes the aura of a king who looks at the world, and no one dares to underestimate such an existence, except for the dead. The old man is Uchiha Madara, a former famous existence that resounded in the ninja world. Its strength has reached the pinnacle of the ninja world. It was, it is, and it will be. Madara has found it. Gio came out of the ground and reported. Madara bowed his head slightly, Sure enough, there is something strange. I actually know the existence of the mountain cemetery. Absolutely. Yes. Since the appearance of that screen in the sky, he has changed overnight. Both strength and character. Also, Madara. The Uchiha who pretended to be you in the discussion group may also be him. This means that he may also have the kaleidoscope blood wheel eye, the three-tailed Iso, and the flying thunder god. After listening to the report, Madara was amazed. At a young age, he has so much power, and I am not as good as at his age. In this case, I am afraid that he will be out of our control. Madara smiled uncaringly. Why should he be controlled by me? As long as you understand my thoughts. Madara lifted his eyes. What thoughts? Project Eye of the Moon. Obito appeared above the head of the golem of the outer path, overlooking the strangely shaped creatures below. There is the will of the big tube of wood Kagaya, and the artificial human cultivated with intercolumn cells, and the thousand-year-old King 8 who uses external forces to survive. Everything here was familiar and unfamiliar, and it made him sick. He jumped down and landed steadily in front of Madara. The two did not have the slightest strangeness when they met, and they were like old friends reuniting. Here you are. Shouldn't I come? I didn't expect you to come so soon. Didn't you already send Baiju to pick me up? Things are unexpected to me, you seem to know everything. I can't hide anything from you, Madara. Is that the ability that screen gives you? I'm curious. Sort of. In short, there must be a connection. Tell me about the future. Madara, the ship of the new era cannot accommodate the remnants of the old era. You're the first imp who dares to talk to me like that. I can lie to you and make you happy, but I think that's an insult to your intelligence. Quote. Madara, I can't complete the Moon Eye plan for you, but I can still promise to resurrect you. Why? Why should a doomed plan be desperately realized? Are there too many people in the way? For the first time, Madara's mood fluctuated. The Eye of the Moon plan was all he had, and Obito's words would undoubtedly sentence him to death. I want future images to show you the ending. And times are different, Madara. Obito shrugged. He couldn't say it explicitly. Firstly, he didn't necessarily believe it, and secondly, Heiju was still present. Tell me about your intentions. Since you already know everything, why do you come to the old age? I want to say, don't move Lin. Just for a woman. You disappointed me a little. To you, she's just a woman, and to me, she's the whole world. Of course, you can touch my anti-scales. Quote. When the time comes, see if I don't kill you. The latter sentence, Obito did not elaborate. You seem to be orchestrating me. Madara's blood chakra eye sees everything, including the human heart. Ahem, Madara, I want to make a deal with you. Take the fork to open the topic. Interesting. I'm curious what you can bring me. The corners of Madara's mouth outlined a smile. Obito glanced around in a gesture of his eyes. Madara understood, so he retreated around, except for Heiji. Let's rest for a while. He should be tired too. Madara explained. Heiju is the product of my yin and yang tons, it is my will, not an outsider. Just you and me. No one's will work. Quote. Obito was unmoved. Madara's pupils shrank and said. I hope you don't let me down. Step aside, too. Before leaving, he glanced at Obito unwillingly. After everyone left, he ran to Madara with a dirt fart and took out 2 bowls and a jug of wine from the Kamui space. Fill it up separately. At this moment, he is just the hairy boy who saw his ancestors for the first time, not a reborn and knows everything. Old man, borrow me something. Say what you want. Madara took a sip of spirits. Hey, lend me your kaleidoscope blood wheel eye. Quote. You should know the value of my eyes, ahem. You are such a strong wine. Madara choked, resisting the urge to cough. This straight blood wheel eye of his, the entire ninja world, is unique. Most importantly, this eye was given to him by his younger brother, Uchiha Senna, before he died, to help him open his eyes. For Madara, it means a lot. Its preciousness speaks for itself. King of the ninja realm, drink spirits. Obito let out a small flattery. He knew the origin of this eyeball. If he measures this eye by matter, it is insulting spots, and the consequences are serious. Sycophants. Madara scolded with a smile, but his heart was very useful. When people are old, they love to listen to beautiful words, even if they know that they are momentary flattery. Usually surrounded by either stupid people or people with ulterior motives. None of them resemble people. He took another sip. In exchange, I'll tell you why the Moon Eye plan failed. Take a mouthful of soil, and then fill yourself up. I can see it from the screen. The implication is that this condition is not enough. After giving me this eye, you won't see it. Skin it, you can't skin too much. You're confident, but I don't like to beat around the bush. Madara frowned slightly, and drank the spirit in the bowl. You said yes. Obito smiled. Full. Howler. With dirt and turbulence, give the spot full. Then he said, Madara, the Eye of the Moon you know is all obtained from the stone tablet of the Uchiha Ancestral Hall. The information on that stone tablet is 7 points true and 3 points false, because it was tampered with halfway. You mean, Kuro? Madara immediately noticed. In fact, from the time Obito talked about the stone tablet of the Uchiha Ancestral Hall, he had already believed most of it. But Heiju was obviously made by him, how could he betray himself? The years of black life are too long, according to the generation, he is half the mother of the 6 Tao immortals. Count it as half of your ancestors. My ancestor, why not your ancestor? Madara doesn't have a good airway. In fact, a terrifying wave was set off in his heart, that black mass was the mother of the legendary 6 Tao immortals. My ancestors. Hey, Banye, the 2 sons of the 6 Tao immortals, Asura and Indra have been reincarnated for generations. You are the reincarnation of Indra, are you not half of the descendants of Highway? Obito continued. I am the reincarnation of Indra. Yes, your archenemy and best friend, the original Hokage Senjukuma, is the reincarnation of Asura. If you had been a few lifetimes ago, you would have to call him brother. Quote. Between the pillars. Madara had nostalgia in his eyes, no matter how long it was, the pillars were the most important part of his heart. Forgot. No, you can't. Isn't it right on your old chest? Obito blinked. In order to open the Eye of Reincarnation, Madara bites off a piece of meat between the columns, holds it in the mouth, and then fuses it hard to obtain the intercolumn cells. No, retribution was meted out, and a face between pillars grew on his chest. Of course, this is retribution for others, for Madara, probably not. These words, Obito dared to say it at noon. You know that. Madara is not calm. It was the second shameful thing in his life. The full name of the 6 Tao immortals is Itsuki Yu, his mother is Itsuki Kagaya. Itsuki Kagaya ate the fruit of the divine tree and became the ancestor of chakra. The divine tree is the 10 tails, and the 10 tails are the divine tree. Obito drank another bowl of wine. This feeling of drinking and nagging with your ancestors is really good. Madara also drank it all. This feeling of listening to one's own descendants tell themselves the secrets of the ninja world is indeed a little interesting. Obito filled it up again and continued. At the beginning, Kagaya was afraid of the power of the Niang family, and tried to use an illusion to recycle chakra, and by the way create a white army to resist the Niang family. This illusion is the Eye of the Moon. She sucked her future daughter-in-law dry, and Dadamu Yuya was grief-stricken, and she destroyed her relatives with righteousness, and united with her brother to seal her own mother. Kagaya was unwilling, so he used yin and yang to create a black absolute. Let him find a chess piece, cast the Eye of the Moon, and help her break through the seal. You are amazing, you have been chosen. Obito said dry mouth, dried another bowl, and then gave a full cough. The wine in the bowl spilled a little. After planning for a lifetime, only to be told that he was just someone else's pawn and was used for a lifetime. This is difficult for a peerless powerhouse with eyes above the top for a while, and it is difficult to accept. Obito Yan cannot understand this truth. Don't care, there is still room for things, I am not also used by you. Quote. You don't hate me. Madara looks at Obito. Hate. How can I not hate you for taking advantage of my character, taking away the person I cherish the most, and deceiving me to work for you all my life? With a blank face, he dried another bowl and continued. That's why I told you everything, I want you to empathize, I am your pawn, why are you not a pawn of that thing? I have been deceived by you all my life, why haven't you been deceived all my life? The person I cherish the most was taken away by you, and the person you cherish the most was not killed by your own hands. Madara, we're all the same. Obito finished speaking in one breath, only felt happy, the previous life died too quickly, there was no chance to find spots, this life finally got his wish. Madara was really silent after listening to it. After a while, he asked, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I will resurrect you. Aren't you afraid of me? Are you afraid of me?" The two Uchiha looked at each other and smiled. Obito tried to pour 2 more bowls of wine, but the jug was empty. "It's time for me to go. Take care. By the way, Ah Fei, I took it." Obito got up to leave. "Wait, go on." Madara's voice came from behind him, and then a ball wrapped in chakra was thrown over, and the blood on it was not dry. Obito took it carefully. "Thank you. Borrow yours, pay it back." Howler. "Use it up and pay it back. By the way, next time you come, bring more jugs of wine." "Well said." Obito stretched out his hand and dissolved himself into the darkness. "Find Ah Fei on your own." Only the lonely and blind old man was left, carrying an empty bowl, sitting alone in front of the outer golem. He lifted his forehead bangs, revealing the hollow eyes on the other side. 2 black eye holes stared straight ahead, and one of them was still oozing blood. Yin red blood ran down the face of the ravine, dripping on the old clothes, staining the cloth red. If someone happens to see this scene, it will be creepy. After a long time, I thought I could see through everything, but I didn't expect to be blinded in the end. The husky voice echoed in the hole. "My pawn says I'm a pawn. Interesting. Obito, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Why don't you bring my other companion with you? You know what? Madara had already guessed that you were coming to take me, and ordered me to follow you and take the opportunity to spy on you." Obito turned his head to look at him. "So it is. How's that? I'm smarter than you, Obito." Maybe. Obito echoed. "Fei is like this, if you pick up the stubble, he can annoy you. You never know how many words are hidden in the dark underground." "Obito, why do you always call Lin when you sleep at night?" "Oh yes, sometimes there are idiot calls. What is the idiot Kakashi? Can I eat it?" Quote. Obito. "Obito, why are you holding Rin's picture in the bed at night?" "Ah Fei, you're looking for your own death. Finally, ask a question, can you tell me what it feels like? Can you give me an analogy if it's convenient?" Ah Fei asked politely. Born from the golem, he does not need to eat, and naturally does not need to excrete. He was too curious about what it was like, just as an adolescent boy was curious about that aspect. The latter is still easy to learn. And the former is like the day never knows how much night is. "Fei, I'm really tired. Please, let me go." Quote. Obito is really helpless. After living 2 lifetimes, he didn't figure out how to answer Ah Fei's question. He hadn't closed his eyes for a day and a night, and he had to listen to this nagging all the way. What a double torture of spirit and body. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have pooped with you. Not for this reason." With the earth fire, he was so frightened that Ah Fei immediately silenced him. Bring soil, where are we going? Go find my companion. This is the last question, please shut up. Fei was silent for a while, and then asked in a low voice. "Obito, do you want to enter my body? Get out." Woohoo! Boom! A huge roar sounded, dust flew up, and the historic Kanabi Bridge was blown up. Phew! Finally completed the task. In this way, the supply of Yenian village was completely cut off. Bofeng Shuaman stood on the distant hillside and said slowly. "You have done an excellent job in this mission, and when you return to the village, I will ask Naruto-sama for you. If only the soil was there." This is also his first mission after becoming a Naka shinobi. Lin's eyes were gloomy, and she looked at the Kanabi Bridge that collapsed in an instant. She couldn't get rid of her sadness, she could only hide it. "Teacher, Rin, I'll go fetch water." Kakashi knew that Rin was sad, but he had no choice but to escape. "Go. Be careful." Watergate, feeling the frozen atmosphere, instructed. After the Kanabi Bridge was blown up, the dust and rubble melted into the river, and the river became muddy. Kakashi had to run upstream to fetch water. Suddenly, a shadow appeared in the river, as if a monster was about to poke out of it. "Who?" Kakashi reacted quickly and retreated instantly. "Hello, my name is Ah Fei, it's with. Ah, it hurts. It's for people to bring you things." Under the tiger mask, the weirdo said in surprise. "Fei. That shell organization's Ah Fei." Kakashi's hand pressed on the short knife behind his back, and his nerves tensed instantly. "Well, the person in that image is me, but not quite." Oops, how to explain it? Ah-Fei scratched his ears and scratched his cheeks. Anyway, I'm here to bring you something. Saying that, Fei stretched out a thin rattan in his hand, rolled a chakra-wrapped scarlet eyeball, and flew towards Kakashi. Mu Duan. Kakashi's pupils shrank suddenly. How could this legendary trick appear in this mysterious person? Cautious by nature, he naturally would not stupidly take this up, but continued to fly away. Delay a little longer, and the teacher should be almost there. He made up his mind, but his expression remained silent. Seeing his unappreciative look, Ah-Fei looked anxious. If he can't even send something, how can he prove that he is smarter than Obito? So he hurriedly added, "Oh yes, that person said that this is a gift for your promotion to Shangnan. Ah. Your teacher is coming, I'll go first, bye." After speaking, the rattan directly retracted, and the eyeballs that lost support fell straight to the ground due to inertia. If Madara knew about Obito's operation, he didn't know if he would send him back to the outer golem to redo it. Kakashi didn't intend to take it, but Fei's words touched him. Almost instinctively, he caught the scarlet eyeball that fell vertically. Take a look in the palm of your hand. Scarlet eyes, 3 gouge jade flowing in it, this is blood chakra eyes. Kakashi's eyes widened and he froze in place. By the way, this is the note that the man asked me to send you. Kakashi looked for prestige, and Fei's figure had quietly disappeared, but there was an extra note on the ground. There are simply 3 lines written on it. Idiot Kakashi. Don't live up to the prestige of this eye. Plus, Uncle White Fang has always been the ninja I respect the most. In just 3 sentences, it almost made Kakashi breathe, and he subconsciously wanted to clench his fists, but remembered that there was still a fragile eye in his hand. It's Obito, it must be Obito. This tone must be with soil. Just when Kakashi was excited, Lin and Watergate suddenly rushed in front of him. Kakashi, I sensed a powerful aura, is it an enemy? Watergate asked with a frown. He originally wanted to fly Thunder God over, but he was afraid of the enemy's plan to move the tiger away from the mountain, and if he took the opportunity to kidnap Lin, it would be troublesome. Kakashi, are you alright? Rin also asked with concern. Teacher, Rin, it's Obito, Obito may not be dead. As soon as these words came out, Lin and Watergate were moved, especially Lin. What's going on, Kakashi, you make it clear. She looked gaff, her heart beating violently, almost ecstatic. Kakashi handed the note in his hand to the 2 before telling what had just happened. So, Obito promised to give you this blood chakra eye before the Divine Bridge mission. But as far as I know, Obito hasn't opened his eyes yet. Watergate frowned, feeling that there was something strange about this matter. It's Obito's tone, Obito must not be dead. Lin pressed the note to her chest and cried with joy, like a pear blossom bringing rain. She doesn't care about the twists and turns of things. For her, as long as she knows that Obito is not dead, that's enough. Kakashi, what are you going to do with this eye? Watergate was puzzled. In the previous mission, he was inconvenient to delve into it. Now that I think about it, I find many doubts about Obito recently. First of all, suddenly enlightened, even the forbidden technique of S-level difficulty such as Flying Thunder God can be comprehended in a short period of time. Secondly, the origin of this blood chakra eye is unknown. Obito is not a man of words, and if he dares to promise Kakashi, it means that he is confident that he will get this blood chakra eye. So the question is, where did this blood chakra eye come from? You know, every blood chakra eye in Uchiha is to be registered in the village. In the end, Obito's death, he has always felt strange. With his performance in facing Iwane Shangnan alone the day before, the most unlikely person in this team to die is him. Many doubts lingered in the heart of Watergate, but no matter what, Obito was not dead, and the haze that shrouded this team was completely eliminated. As for the rest of the matter, go back to the village and think slowly. Sensei, according to the rules of the village, I should hand it over to Uchiha, but this is a gift from Obito. Kakashi said in embarrassment. He is a man of principles, and the rules of the village are his principles. According to village rules, he should not have left this eye. But this was given to him with soil. Regulations again. How long are you going to stick to the rules? Are peers important, or rules important? Have you ever wondered how much Obito paid to get this eye? He could have kept it for himself, but chose to give it to you. Is he just trying for you to hand him over to the village? Kakashi, you disappointed me so much. Lin Chao's face was tense, her eyes were pressing, her tone was angry and merciless, and she vented the anger in her heart in one breath. I'm sorry. Kakashi was speechless and could only bow his head silently. Lin was right, this eye was so precious, it obviously couldn't be easily obtained. You're sorry for Obito. Lin pinched her waist, the anger burning in her eyes. Okay, Rin, Kakashi has a hard time too. Watergate laughed and spoke up to ease the atmosphere. Fang Kalen looked angry, like Ju Shinai, and even he was stunned from the bottom of his heart. Then again, what Rin said is not unreasonable, the rules were made by the top of the village. In other words, the rules contain people's hearts. Kakashi, do you remember Obito's last words? Watergate pondered for a moment and gave an appropriate reminder. On this issue, it is only up to Kakashi himself to decide. If you want to wear its crown, you must bear its weight. This is the courage of a strong person. Father. Your father White Fang is the hero of Konoha. He was so powerful that even Konoha Sanshin had to retreat. In order to save the life of his partner, he would rather bear the infamy. He is also an elder I respect. Watergate said lightly, until the point was reached. Father is a hero. Kakashi trembled inwardly. Tears rolled in his eyes, and he couldn't bear to let them fall. In order to save his companions, White Fang gave up the task, could not bear the gossip in the village, and chose to cut himself at home. This matter has always been Kakashi's heart disease since he was a child. Today, in the mouths of the most admired teachers and best friends, I hear the high respect for my father. On the other hand, he has always regarded him as a negative teaching material. Perhaps, I have always misinterpreted my father. At this moment, Kakashi made up his mind and said in a firm tone. I want to leave this eye, I want to become stronger, I want to find Obito and meet him at the top. Kakashi raised his hand, revealing the one in the palm of his hand, which was enough to make the ninja world set off a bloody eye. Watergate bowed his head slightly, and said with relief, you transplant here, let Lin use the palm cactus technique to treat your wounds, and I will guard you here. Quote. He is not mistaken, Kakashi has the quality that is most needed to become a strong man, that is, the heart of a strong man. Please, Lin. Kakashi said towards Rin. And rightly so. Only then did Lin smile. The transplant process was simple and did not take long. When Kakashi reopened his eyes, a drop of blood and tears flowed from his eyes, and a domineering power gushed out from his body, like a flash in the pan. Kakashi looked at this new world like a baby. Is this the blood chakra eye? Everything around him seemed to be in sight, and everything fled in his eyes. More than twice as many chakras appeared out of thin air in the body, frantically converged in the left eye, and then fed back to the brain. The cold and crazy aura permeated his mind. Kakashi felt stronger than ever. He glanced at his surroundings again. He seemed to feel something, and suddenly turned his head to look at a certain empty space in the river. Not good. Obito, who was lurking there, hurriedly hid in the Shinwei space, secretly shouting dangerously. What a powerful insight. Almost discovered. He had been hiding here, borrowing the river water to hide his smell, but he was almost exposed. What's wrong, Kakashi? Lin and Watergate worried that he had a rejection reaction. It's okay, a momentary illusion. Kakashi replied. How are you feeling now? Watergate looked worried. He knew that Uchiha would stimulate the nerves of the brain by opening the blood chakra eye. A direct transplant like Kakashi, Watergate feared that something would go wrong with his mental state. Unspeakable feeling, calm and crazy. Kakashi couldn't tell what state he was in now. But teacher, I feel that the chakra in my body has at least doubled. I'm more sensitive to chakra's control. Quote. The blood chakra eye is also a top-ranked existence in the blood succession limit, and it is not surprising that it can bring you these increases. Quote. This is the reason why geniuses frequently appear in the Uchiha family. Teacher, look. Kakashi suddenly turned his head, and the 3 jade hooks in his eyes flowed and hooked, turning into a strange pattern. This is kaleidoscope blood wheel eye. Quote. Rao is a water gate, and it is not calm at all. His friend, Uchiha Fuyu, who had just opened the kaleidoscopic blood wheel eye a while ago, suddenly reached the first position in the clan. He has been appointed as the next Uchiha Patriarch. And Kakashi actually. Kakashi, Obito has given you an amazing gift. I think the existence of this eye, or don't let people know for the time being. Watergate couldn't help but marvel, and after a little thought, said. For no other reason, the value of this eye is immeasurable. In the village, there are high-level existences who have always coveted the blood wheel eye. Moreover, if the Kiki Shuamao family knew that Kakashi got this eye, they would definitely not let others take it again. And the Uchiha family will not allow a kaleidoscope blood wheel eye to remain in the hands of outsiders. There is no doubt that Konoha will have a huge storm, which is not good for Konoha in wartime, and Kakashi, who is at the center of the storm at that time, is bound to be injured because of this. Understood. The brilliant Kakashi heard the solemnity of Watergate's tone and knew that it was a big deal. Kakashi, why don't you wear an eye patch later? Lin on the side suggested. Blindfold. Let's just say that your eyes were blinded during this mission, so you can only wear an eye patch. As far as I know, the village elder Tuanzang also has a gauze wrapped around his eyes. Lin explained. Good way. Both Watergate and Kakashi's eyes lit up. This can not only leave this kaleidoscope blood wheel eye, but also avoid a storm. It can be described as killing two birds with one stone. However, unless you encounter a necessary moment, you must not use this eye in the future. Lin continued to analyze. Such a simple truth, Kakashi naturally knew, and he bowed his head in agreement. By the way, Kakashi, I heard that the kaleidoscope blood chakra eye will come with an ability. Do you feel anything changed at the moment? Watergate suddenly recalled a certain detail and asked. Change. Kakashi was stunned, and then exclaimed, I feel that the chakra in my body has doubled on the original basis. Your chakra was already more than your peers, and now it's more than 4 times bigger. It's overbearing. This is Uchiha. Quote. Watergate is amazing. As everyone knows, not far away, different voices sounded. It's not that everyone is so perverted. This is a spotted blood chakra eye. Obito thought thoughtfully. Madara's kaleidoscope should bring him an increase in ability. In addition to the increase in chakra, there should also be an increase in pupil power. No wonder you dare to imprint in the soul of the 9 tails, so it is. Even among the genius Uchiha, there are only a few top ones who can manipulate the 9 tails. Obito admits himself to channeling the 9 tails, but if he wants him to use the 9 tails as a mount like Madara, that is also impossible. From ancient times to the present, it is estimated that there are only 3 people who can ride on the body of the 9 tails. One has long been seated, and the other is still in the womb. The last one is Madara. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and support our channel.